Okay, I'm live. Sorry if this is confusing everybody. Laura went live. She's like, I'm going live. I gotta schedule live. So I was like, all right, I'll push it back. I have no idea what the hell was going on. No clue. No clue. Pugs, no. I'm live now. I didn't think she was going to be done that quick, so I just set it back. But you know, if you come here, you come here. I don't know if it's going to send out the notification. Hold on, let me actually edit that so that people get the notification, right? Because that would make sense. Oh, I can't. Shit. Okay, I can't change it. That's all right. We'll see if people come here. If they don't, no big deal. So, I freaking, it's that time of year again, guys. I don't know if you guys remember last year, I went into a whole entire rant about the fucking elf on a shelf. Okay, whoever invented this goddamn thing, I just want to kill him. I want to kill him. Oh, it did send the notification. Okay. So last night, yesterday, my son's all excited because he's like, it's December 1st. The elf is coming. You know, he's like fucking writing the thing notes. Like, oh God, here we go. Here we go. And I don't mean to complain about this. I know he's only going to be young once. You know, I appreciate his enthusiasm about it. I do. But it's just like, oh my God. He watches all these things on YouTube. These people, you know, they do all these crazy things with their elves. I ain't got time like that. So all day yesterday, he writes this thing a note. He's telling the elf, hey, bring me this and that. And I'm like thinking, dude, this is the elf. He's not Santa. So he's not going to be like, you know, buying you gifts every day. So let's just get that out of your freaking mind. Sure enough, I fall asleep last night and I forget to put the damn elf out. Okay. Totally forgot about it. Totally forgot about the elf. So this morning, he wakes up like at the fucking ass crack of dawn. And he's like, Mommy, come on. And I'm like, oh, shit. I had this whole plan for the first night, you know what I'm saying? That the elf came, but I couldn't do it. He was already up. And so he's like, come on, let's go look for the elf. And I'm thinking in my head, oh my God, this is going to be a big fucking thing. Every morning, I'm going to have to wake up early now because like I'm already pressed for time in the morning. Now I'm going to have to wake up early so we could search for the elf. This elf is a pain in the ass, okay? It's a pain in the ass. Fluttery the elf last night. I was free from the elf and I fucked up having another kid. So, yeah. So now, you know, I said, maybe he comes the night of December 1st. Oops. Like, oh shit. I really got to get this stupid thing out. If I don't remember tonight, I'm screwed. So I got to remember this fucking thing tonight. A few years ago, I took it out the day after Thanksgiving. Not doing that again. That's like fucking 14 more days of trying to figure out what to do with this thing every day. Because like I ran out of ideas 4 years ago. So I'm all shit out of ideas here. You know, I don't do anything like crazy with it. I usually just move it because I don't want him to get used to the whole, you know, hey, the elf's going to be like fucking swinging from the ceiling fan every day kind of shit with, you know, Cheerios or some shit. I don't know. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to myself. Too much work. So I just kind of move him around, you know, every once in a while I'll put like a little something there, but hopefully he doesn't watch this video. I don't think he will, but yeah. So we're over the elf. Already. Haven't even started with it and I'm already over it. I'm like, yeah, elf on a shelf. Good stuff. So is it because you're a tall person? No, I'm actually not that tall. I'm only 5'4", so I'm not that tall. Meanwhile, I'm not even done decorating yet. Okay. I haven't even I put my tree up. I got everything downstairs. My living room is filled with boxes right now. It's like I look like I live in a warehouse. all my shit got destroyed yesterday. So now I have to go out on my lawn. It's like a full-time job maintaining Christmas lights. Jesus Christ. I don't get paid for it. But it's all for the kids. It's all for the kids. And Snoop won't shut up. So, yeah, I'm short. I'm 5'4". Ben, the elf. If you have kids, you ever see a goddamn elf on a shelf thing? That thing is the bane of my existence. It really is. It's like, who the fuck thought of this idea? Because it's not a good idea. We didn't have that shit when we were kids. There's no fucking elf. No fucking elf watching us. You know what worked when we were kids? Santa's watching. That's it. That's all we needed. Now we got to have this little babysitter that comes down from the skies. Oh. It's like, I don't even know. I'm like, I have to be honest. I'm surprised it works because these kids nowadays are so smart. Yeah, I'm surprised like they fall for this shit, you know? But I don't know. Listen, I only have a couple more years of this, so I shouldn't even be complaining. Because in a couple years, this is all going to go away. And he's going to not even give a shit anymore. So I shouldn't complain. But I just feel bad that I left the damn thing out. I was going to like put it like maybe when he came home from school, but I was like, nah, we'll just do it tomorrow morning. We'll just do it tomorrow morning. We'll get the elf here. We'll get the elf here. I had to come up with something this morning. I was like, oh, maybe Santa's backed up because of COVID. I was like, you know, maybe Santa didn't send his elves out yet because of COVID. He's like, well, this one's fucking elf is at their house and that one's elf. He's like, Avery has her elf. That's some girl. I go, maybe because her name starts with an A. So she got hers first because, you know, in alphabetical order, you know, trying to come up with all these things. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We used to get the advent calendar. Last year, he got a goddamn Lego advent calendar. It was like the most expensive advent calendar ever created. Like fucking $50 for an advent calendar. I don't think it was that. It might have been like $30. But it was like, oh my God, these fucking things. It's just like another thing. Like I need another headache. I mean, you know, it's my choice. But how do you not have it? Every kid has one. But we all got to get on the same page with this shit, you know, with these elf things. Like, are we putting them out December 1st? When are we starting the elf thing? You know, I think all parents across the board, maybe I'll make like an elf group on Facebook and we could all get on the same page about our elves. You know, what is the deal with these elves? Could we all have the same story and the same, you know, deadlines and shit? Oh my God. It's so funny the excuses will come up with. And my son, he's so smart, like, but he, you know, he don't question certain things. And I'm like, my kid drives me nuts about this fucking elf too. Steph, it's like, oh my God. Oh, you know what I did get this year though? And I know at least one day, I have at least one trick for one day. They have, you ever see those, it's called the world's smallest, I believe. World's smallest toys or some shit like that. They have a miniature elf. So one day I'm going to be like, oops, I shrunk the elf. I'll replace him with the little one. Oh, shit. But yeah, that's it. Have you seen those beauty advent calendars? Yes, Pugwash. And I have. They have them at Sephora, I believe, right? Different beauty product every day of the week. My older kids used to say, I don't want no man in a red suit coming in their house. I know. And then I don't have a chimney. Like this whole situation is just so complicated. And he's starting to ask more questions now. He's in, you know, second grade. So he's starting to ask a little bit more questions about things. Elves' lives matter. They do. So come on, Snoop, go. It's dude, this is insane. Oh my God, I gotta show you guys something really funny. Hold on. This is hilarious. I got a huge mess in the background, so don't mind me. Let me turn my camera on. And thanks, Laura. Oh, what am I doing? Hold on. Oh, I gotta show you guys two things. Hold on. I'll be right back. There's my tree. Why does this thing look so damn cloudy? Oh, this is hilarious. All right. I'll show you guys one thing at a time. All right, Snoop, go outside if you want to go outside. Hold on, go. Come on. Here you go. Bye-bye. Now he's going to go. All right, check this out. So I was going through my mom's Christmas ornaments. Let me turn this light on so it doesn't look so weird. Oh, Snoop, could you just shut up? All right. I have some of my mom's Christmas ornaments, right? In these Snapware boxes. You ever see these? These are great, by the way. I love these things. They're the bee's knees. So we're going through the ornaments. This is crazy. Okay, check this out. I had this. Do you guys know what the fuck this is? Let me move down here so you guys could see me and not the fucking light. All right, do you guys know, have you guys ever seen one of these things? Anybody? Oh, it still kind of smells. So I made this in 4th grade. It's a fucking orange, okay? It's an orange. It's called what the fuck is the name of it? Pomeranda? Some shit like that. I forget the name. You know, it was only like, I don't know, 30 years ago that I made this thing, probably more than that. So our teacher had us do this in class. We had to bring in an orange, and then these are cloves, I believe, and we had to sit there and fucking put them in one by one. I remember the kids in the class were like, oh my God, my fingers are bleeding. They hurt so bad. Like, oh, it was such a pain in the ass. Dude, my fingers were like bleeding because these things used to be pointing out. My mom saved this, so I can't get rid of it now. It's an orange, it's dried up. But this was the funny thing that I was going to show you guys. Pomander, is that it? Yeah, something like that. The clove orange. Yeah, check this out. So this is I believe it looks like somebody made this thing, right? This was one of my mom's ornaments. I guess obviously it broke. It's just like somebody took pins and they put little beads and little sequins. Jesse pulls this out of the box and he goes, oh my God, Mom. He's like, it's the coronavirus. I was like, oh shit, it is. I gotta fix it so I can hang it on the tree. I'll put like a little 2020 thing on there. Doesn't it look like the little coronavirus ball? It's so funny. I was like, oh my God, he's actually right. I was like, he's pretty smart. Hold on, let me get this fucking going. Snoop, you're driving me crazy today. But what else is new? All right. So that, and I gotta show you guys one more thing. Is M's in here? Because this is for M's. Tell me he's not right, though. Tell me he's not right. It does look like the coronavirus ball. He was so right about that. I thought I brought the thing in here. All right, so yesterday, this was like the best part of my day yesterday. Just to let you guys know. Hold on, let me just move this bin. I was, I need the box. Where's the box? Hold on. Move, Snoop. Where's the box? Oh my God, my husband probably threw it out. Hold on. No, here it is. Okay. I gotta show you guys the whole thing. So yesterday I got a package from Amazon. Now they have the Amazon Prime guy that comes around, okay? So he leaves, the packages. Really, dude, I mean, come on. You're a little close for comfort. So I open it up and I see this and I'm like, oh my God. I thought my husband effed up because I want this lens. There's this lens I want that actually Science Girl told me about it. But then when I was reading about videoing hockey, it suggested this lens. So I was like, I want it, but it's really expensive. Why do I still have my headphones in? Maybe that's why I'm screaming. I want it, but it's really expensive. So it's not this one, but is it 24 by 105? I forget the millimeter numbers. I don't know shit about that stuff. But anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I pull this out of the thing. Why are you barking at me, dude? Oh my God. You see how jealous this dog is? I can't even talk. So I'm like, what the hell is this? I thought my husband ordered it and accidentally put my name on the package. And then I look at it and I'm like, wait a second. What the hell is this at the top? I'm like, that looks like whipped cream. What the fuck is this? So I open it up, right? And it looks like a camera lens, but it's a fucking coffee cup. Em sent it to me. Thank you, Em, by the way. So check this out. It has a little lid with the, it looks like a lens cap. Okay. So it unscrews. It's got like, it's pretty damn good, I gotta say, because like I have a lens like this. I have a telephoto lens just like this, only this one's a little wider, I believe. And look at that. It has the image stabilizer buttons. It's got the little whatever that thing is. I have no fucking idea. Like I said, I don't know shit about lenses really. All right, and then it comes with that. It came with a spoon. I don't know where I put the spoon. And then it also comes with the regular top, so you could like, you know, drink out of it. So it just comes with the regular top. I was like, this is so cool. I love it. Oh shit. I didn't even realize this looks like when you put the little hood on it. They have a hood for some lenses. Oh my God, it's kind of hard to screw this in, but how fucking cool is this? It even has like the bottom lens cap. This is the part that you screw this thing off normally and it goes in the camera. Now I wish this was a real lens, but I'll take the cup. It's fucking awesome. So Ems, thank you. I don't know if she's still in here, but I do appreciate this. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't love this? Okay. Especially somebody like me, who's a camera enthusiast. So, all right. That's what I had to show you guys. I got to put some coffee in it. I love it. I love it. It's so cute. All right. I'm going to stop my camera. It does look so realistic. And they did a really good job replicating the whole look of the lens, all the details and everything. It's freaking adorable. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I just had to show you guys that, because how do you not share that with the world? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was pretty cool. So thank you again. Yeah, it was sweet of her. And maybe if you guys know any camera enthusiasts, maybe I could find it and put it in my Amazon store. So thank you guys, by the way, too. Because I don't really frequently look to see if I even made any money on Amazon, but I did look this month and I made I don't know, I made almost $20, which isn't that much, but that means that you guys have been clicking on my link and you guys have been shopping in my store. So thank you to whoever bought stuff from my store. I really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And thank you to my mods, because you guys are like awesome and just like share it. And I don't even think sometimes, like I forget, you know, that I have it. So thank you guys for that too. So awesome. So awesome. Thank you, Ems. Ems, you know who else would like that? John. I think John would appreciate that. I haven't talked to John in like, 2 weeks. I don't even know. But, you know, we're having an affair and all. But we haven't talked. We're having we broke up for 2 weeks. No, I think he moved. I'm sure he's just trying to get settled. I got to check in on him and see how he's doing. But he, I think he would appreciate that thing. I might have to send him one. So that's it. So Christmas, see, thank you, Zero Filter Jules. You guys seriously are like the best, because like I'm the worst mod, and I'll just admit that, like hands down, I'm the worst mod out there. I forget to like share links and all this shit. I'm just bad. I'm just bad at it. I don't even block people. Like the thing I do, I'm good at with mods is like, you know, when you're modding, and now everybody, if you don't have a wrench, you probably don't, you know what this is. But like, say if somebody like curses, or somebody like Jonice, where's our little Jonice? Can you come decorate my house? Sure, Ditterbug. Once I'm done with mine, I'll happily come decorate. You have great decorating skills, though. Hello, did you see your baby nursery? Because I did. Wow, good for you, Yarnfield. I haven't even really started. Anyway, what the hell was I saying? Forgot. Oh, you guys. Oh, how I was saying how good you guys are about sharing my links. Oh, with the modding. Okay. So the one thing I do very well is people like Jonice. Jonice puts a lot of emojis, and I don't care. But every time, for some reason, I guess the Google bots pick that up, and they kind of delete it, or you have to show it. You have to press show. So that's the one thing I do very well, is I show people's comments. But that's about it. Your mods are great, very welcome. Well, you know, thank you. You live and learn. I try to be. We're laid back. I'm laid back in here. Even with the modding, you know, Yes, we have to approve any messages with swearing or excessive emojis. Yep, yeah. So I'm good at approving them. I just like I feel like I don't like blocking people, and I don't like to block people. I don't like to censor people. But you know what? I realized in the last week that there's certain people I have to block. I have to for my own sanity, you know? Because I know that they're not gonna stop. So if they don't, I will. So just like Laura just went live, and I know she's aggravated and she's upset about the whole thing. I didn't see the videos, and we have to remember to do our part too and just stop responding to it after a while. Just stop responding to it and stop. I don't watch it. I don't watch it. And and that makes it a lot easier to not respond. And I know Laura doesn't either. Laura, she doesn't really watch a lot of stuff too. I know it's a lot of it is people telling us. I know that, the case for me, definitely. A lot of the times it's because somebody's like, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? And, then I go watch, if I do go watch, and it's crazy. Do you use StreamYards? Because if so, it's so easy to help with the links. Yeah, I do use StreamYards. It's just annoying. They Poppy J, thank you. Jesse's health reminder. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh my God. That's so funny. Poppy, I'm dead tonight. If I don't remember, I am dead. I am dead. I just decorated one room, not the whole house. Too much work. I know. My husband's like, you're going to put the village up and this and that. And I'm like, dude, like the thing is like, yeah, I love putting it out. Then I got to fucking clean everything. I have to clean it all up. So this year though, I mean, I don't know. I started really early. I started the outside early because that's really like the hard part for me is the outside. So you guys haven't seen it for a while. Oh, thanks, Ben. I actually need my hair done. My hair is my roots. I haven't shit. Oh no, it's on the 3rd. Oh shit. I have an appointment coming up. You guys, I was talking about this the other day, and I want to know if anybody else has had this problem with the iPhone 11. My battery just like all of a sudden overnight started to drain really fast, and it won't charge all the way. It's like crazy. And I go in the thing and it says battery health 86%. This phone is only, dude, they charge so much money for the fucking iPhone 11. It's like ridiculously more expensive than the other one. And I'm so mad. I'm so mad. And what do you call it? It's also now the battery's dead. I haven't even had the thing for like 6 months yet. I'm so mad. So mad. But I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm going to try before I go to Apple and sit there because I hate that place. I hate going to the Apple store. I despise it. Before I go there, I'm going to try just doing a complete reset on my phone. Because somebody was saying yesterday about it could possibly be like a virus or something, or your phone got hacked. So I might have to just like reset everything and start fresh. I don't know. It's so weird. Mandy, yeah, it's so weird. And it's so annoying because I paid so much goddamn money for this phone. Like, I mean, I'm still paying for it, but I don't like, then they have to open it up and give you a replacement battery. No, I want a brand new phone. I don't want a replacement battery. This is bullshit. The phone's not even 6 months old. I mean, do I use the phone a lot? Yeah. But I mean, does it like, it's just crazy. Yeah, yarn filled crew. That's what I'm gonna try doing. I've heard other people having trouble with the iPhone 11. So, another thing I wanted to talk about. I saw your arch ornament at Home Depot. I told my hubby. Well, Val, I got it at Lowe's. The big. Are you talking about the big? Yeah, the big thing outside. That was from Lowe's. I thought it was a diamond ring. He was like, "Babe, it's an ornament." Oh, that's so funny. Kind of does look like a diamond ring, though. You're actually right. I can see that. Doesn't something always happen every time a new iPhone comes out? Well, here's the thing, Ditterbug. This started happening before I updated. So, because yeah, it could be because of like an update, like there's some type of bug in an update, but it started happening before I updated. So I don't know. I don't know what's going. We jumped through hoops. Oh, they gave her a new one? Good. I hope they give me a new one. Now, I don't know where to go because the Sprint store is gone. I guess it's T-Mobile now. I don't know. Sprint and T-Mobile supposedly merged with each other, but I'm going to do the hard reset first because I know that's the first thing they're going to ask you, like, did you restart it? Did you do this? So I'm going to do all the troubleshooting kind of things. And then if that doesn't work, I don't know. I give up. So did you guys, did anybody watch? Laura was a little mad at me last night. I don't know if she's still listening, but I went up on Jay for Justice's panel. I was listening to so I don't know. I was bored. I was just sitting around and I turned Jay's live on because it like showed up at the top of my thing when I opened YouTube, my YouTube app. So I was like, oh, let me listen to this. Now, I know Laura hates the girl. Personally, I mean, listen, this is my theory on the girl Kim, okay? If she wants to make herself look like a fucking psycho lunatic, standing up for this guy and waste her time, you know, trying to help him get a case or whatever like that, that's on her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to judge her. She has a different point of view than me. It's a waste of time, in my opinion. But, you know, if that's how she wants to spend her time, then let her. That's, you know, it's not affecting my life, basically. That's how I look at it, right? It's not affecting my life or anybody around me's life. And I'm going to take the same approach, you know, that I want people to take with me. If you don't like me, just don't watch me then. You know what I'm saying? But I have to be honest with you guys. Think about this, right? We watch interviews like Jeffrey Dahmer was interviewed. You know, and a lot of people watch that interview because it's interesting. You know, none of us normal people can understand what's going on in the mind of a murderer. Now, do I think Chris Watts is ever going to win any type of appeal or new trial? No, not at all. You were famous 1K people watching you. Yeah, well, I didn't get any subscribers off of it, but no, I wasn't trying to, but I'm just saying. She had 1,000 people in her chat last night, man. They had to slow it down so much that it was you could only comment every minute. I hate that, but you kind of have to, you kind of have to do that. I'm on 100% chronically, whatever. What do you mean 160? Your phone? So, all right. I've always been, you know, open for discussion about the case because I'm just like that in general. I like to hear all people's ideas. I like to hear all people's opinions. I might not agree with them, but I'm always open to hearing everybody's opinions. Yes, Capone, yeah, he wanted a shout out. I finally did it. I couldn't really get a word in edgewise, I gotta be honest. That girl certainly talks a lot. Like she kind of like would answer a question and then like go on and on and on, like a little too much. You know what I'm saying? She went a little bit too much, a little too far with her answers sometimes, and kind of lost the whole part of the question. And I don't know much about the girl except for that, you know, from what Laura has shown on videos. And I did check out her interview with his dad. And, you know, I might be one of the few people that I do feel sorry for his family. You know, I do. I can't imagine being a mother and being put in that position, having to come to terms with that. It's a possibility that my son, who I tried to raise, you know, the right way and do the right things with, would do something so horrible. I mean, I just can't imagine that. So personally, I missed a big chunk last night in between the time when I first started watching because I was helping my son with his homework and everything. And I kind of missed a big chunk of the discussion there. And I kind of got lost a little bit. And people were getting a little too in depth, like rehashing, you know, details that I don't know if they matter or not, you know, some of the things. She was being kind of rude to some people that had opinions, especially her subs and members. I was like, wow, just let it roll. You want all these people here, stay neutral. Who is that, Don? Jay? Now I'm not, you know, I don't have an issue with Jay. Back in the day, it was like stupid because the whole J and K split up thing. I don't care about that anymore. Jay's never done anything to me. I've never done anything to her. So, we're fine, with each other. I have to respect the amount of work that she did on the case. She has done a lot of work when it comes to the case, the Chris Watts case. I mean, if you think about all the hours and hours and hours, probably thousands of hours of footage that she has uploaded to her channel. And that's time consuming. Even if you're just uploading, this stuff, you have to think she has to download it from wherever her source is and then upload it to YouTube and, keep on checking on it, making sure that everything's okay. And this is a money scheme. Laura, I understand that. See, I hate that fucking argument, Laura, because it's so obviously everybody knows that the kids, we know. But that's what this case, and that's why I hate talking about it, because there's so many people that are so goddamn emotional about the case and what happened that they can't discuss the case because their emotions are in the way. When I look at a crime case, I try to take my emotions out of it, my personal emotions, and I try to just look at the facts and dissect them and figure out the why. Hold on. Sorry. I'm folding laundry as I talk to you guys. Exactly, Ditterbug. Whether her points are valid or not, I like listening to new perspectives. I've always listened. I listened to Jay. I listened to Kay. I listened to anybody that was discussing the case. A lot of different people, not everybody, but I understand, like, listen, the outcome of the case can't be changed. We all know what happened, right? But how do we prevent another Chris Watts from happening? Yarnfield Crew, J is for Justice, her name is, but I think now she goes for J is for Justice podcast. I don't even know, Laura, if it's a money grab at this point in time, because don't you think she could have came out with this shit anytime, at any point in time? Why now? I think enough time has passed that maybe his family's ready to start, talking. I don't know. And I'm not here to judge people. Like, I don't care. Again, it doesn't affect my life. And if she wants to waste her time, doing what she's doing, that's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? How about everyone know their own biases and see how it impacts their opinion position? What do you mean? Yeah, we know that, Laura. I'm not arguing the fact that he's not responsible for his actions. Nobody's even arguing that. See, you keep saying things that are just like given. That's a given. Obviously, he's responsible. At the same time, though, it's still interesting to discuss the case because I'm sorry, reality is, and I've always been very open-minded about the case. The reality is couples fight. Couples aren't perfect. It's there's two sides to every story. So it's not like he was all bad and she was all good. That doesn't exist in this world. It really doesn't. There could be people who have mainly bad qualities, but do have some good in them. I don't agree with a lot of your opinions, Laura, no offense. I don't agree that he's a narcissist. There's nothing to show that he's a narcissist. If you're talking in clinical terms, narcissism is something that needs to be shown over a period of time, right? He has to show it. Even, Laura says covert narcissist. Well, covert narcissist, and I've done a lot of reading on narcissists. I feel comfortable speaking on this because I've done extensive reading and watching videos and listening to, all sorts of shit about it. Covert narcissists are still narcissists. So the people closest to them are going to know whether they're narcissists or not, because they're still going to do things that a regular narcissist does. They're still going to have those same traits. They just might hide it a little bit better. We're all scarred emotionally from this case. I agree, Cindy Lou Who. But according to, nobody here could diagnose him, but just according to testimony of other people that knew him, he just didn't show any of those traits. So I can't say whether he's not or he is. Do you think I'm a narcissist or just an asshole? Ben, you're not an asshole. And I don't think you're a narcissist at all, Ben. What do you call it? I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know him. I think you would have to really know something. His mom, how could his mom have caused him to be a narcissist, Laura? That doesn't even make sense. His mom caused him to be a narcissist. Oh, jeez. That's not even like really, I guess it is, but I don't think he is a narcissist. So I then therefore don't think that his mom could have caused him. He shows no signs of narcissism. Zero signs of narcissism. Everybody has some narcissistic tendencies. So, but we can't go by what we see on, after a murder. Shit, every murderer could be considered a narcissist at that point in time. Could he be narcissistic? Sure. But again, everybody can be. Do I think that he could be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder clinically? No, I don't. He just doesn't show the signs and hasn't. I think he just snapped. He has some new snatch and he snapped. Leo wife, I'm kind of with you there. There's obviously something wrong with him. I know there was talk about him possibly having autism for a while, and I know that doesn't cause people to kill people, so don't jump down my throat and say that, because I'm not saying that that's a cause. I'm saying his social skills and the way he talks to people even prior to the murder are very weird. He's very like monotone, and I don't know. He's very socially awkward. So is that a possibility? Sure. For some of his characteristics, I don't know. I personally read the book. I read the discovery documents. I followed the case inside and out. And I don't believe his entire story. I'm going to stay quiet because I'm going to not give a shit about a psychotic piece of shit and not allow victim bashing. Well, Laura, just don't watch her though. Why would you watch somebody if they bother you that much? If she wants to do that, I don't see her bashing Shanann. It's not like she's calling her a bitch or anything like that. I just think that she's discussing the case. From what I've seen, she's not being disrespectful about it. She's just sharing her opinion, which is different than most people's. But I feel like she's not being an asshole completely about it. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to be somewhat respectful still about it. I'm sorry, I just don't hate the girl just because her opinion is different than mine. That's just, I don't know. I don't hate people just because they don't think like me. I like to hear other people's opinions, even if I don't agree with them. Well, Laura, but people are standing up for the victims. There's plenty of people, and I'm not bashing the victim either, but it's not victim bashing when you're just having a discussion and talking about reality, saying that Shanann was controlling. That's not bashing her. That's just a fact. Her own friends testified to that. Her own friends in their police interviews, in the in the discovery document, which I don't know if you read it, but they said that she was controlling. She wore the pants in the family. And again, this doesn't excuse anything that he did. Never does, never will. But it does play into the psychology behind the breakdown of their relationship and how it got to the point. Because let's just be honest, the kids, to me personally, I believe that the kids were the kid part is the hardest part for all of us to get by, right? But the kids, I believe, were secondary, right? I believe she was his target that night, and then the kids came after. And I don't believe his confessions, because if you read the book and you listen to the confession, which I did about 3 times or 4 times, I forgot. because I wanted to really hear things, because every time you listen to it, you pick something new up, right? I don't believe a word he says in his confessions at all. He married someone a lot like his mom. I don't know. You know what, Jamie? I think they might have been alike in some ways, but in other ways, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know his mom well enough. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? To even say that. I don't. Does she seem a little overbearing? Yes, she absolutely does. I mean, I listened to some of her interviews and, you know, her talking on the phone with him, and she's a little much for, you know, he's a grown man. Oh, welcome, Bombshell. How are you? Ow, I just bashed my head on my washing machine thing because I can't reach the bottom without having to hang on it. Ugh. So, anyway, I totally just, I don't know. I just don't believe it, because when he was confessing, right, at first he was saying that it didn't make sense to me, because he was saying he wasn't mad at Shanann. Okay, well, you don't fucking strangle somebody that you're not angry with. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't kill somebody that you're not angry with. Obviously, there had to be some anger there. Maybe he just hasn't accepted that yet. I don't know. But then he describes that he went into a rage. But then he doesn't really understand what a rage is. That interview for me was very weird. Very weird. I feel like he was not being fully honest. Could his version of events be true? Yes. I mean, because obviously we know what happened in the end, right? And it doesn't really matter. But something's still missing for me. And I always felt like that. And then I read the book by that Cradle lady, whatever the hell her name is. Cadle, I think it was. Sherilyn Cadle. And that left me even more confused and disgusted, because I never in my life, and I'm being dead honest here, never wanted to burn a fucking book, okay, so badly. I legit I got so sick at the end of that book that I didn't even finish reading the last like 10 pages, because I was so disgusted with the God bullshit that he was pulling, you know, putting out there with this fucking newfound Christianity bullshit. You know, I felt almost offended, and I'm not even a religious person. I just felt offended. I felt it was like insulting. It's insulting. It really is. Because regardless of, like, even if, okay, and I'm speaking hypothetically, even if he killed her and she killed the kids, and I don't believe this, you know, at this point anymore. Not anymore. I don't know if I ever believed it, but I did explore it as a possibility in the very beginning. I mean, I think now it's pretty clear, but even if he still killed her, so this God shit, it just doesn't add up for me. It doesn't add up for me. You know, like, stop using God as a means to explain or downplay what happened. And I think that's why it made me so sick. And I wanted to burn the book. I legit wanted to fucking just set the thing on fire. I was like, I don't even want this fucking thing in my house. This is disgusting. It's scary. It's fucking weird. And blaming a dark entity is bullshit. That's a cop-out. I'm sorry. Blaming a dark entity. The only dark entity that came into his life was his mistress. And I'm not saying that she's a dark person, because we don't know much about her. I'm saying her presence in his life was dark, because anytime you're stepping out of your marriage, it's dark. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to do that. So if you're stepping outside of your marriage, you have entered into darkness. Period. What doesn't make sense in his story is that if he killed Shanann to protect his girls, she killed him. He just threw him away in all the drums, which is very disrespectful and horrifying. You know, I always operate under like, listen, I think killing is disgusting and horrifying, and disposing of a body in any way to me is disgusting. Like, I don't know. I might be alone in this, but the oil versus dirt, to me at that point in time, does it really make a difference? It's horrifying either way, to take your children's bodies these children that you helped create and put their bodies anywhere. It doesn't even fucking matter where they are. So I've tried, when I was early on in the case, I remember thinking to myself, okay, here's a scenario. And I'm trying to just, this is when our only information was that his story. Could it be possible? I asked myself. And all right, let's just think about this. Let's just say, and again, I'm speaking hypothetically, let's just say she killed the kids, right? And his story is true. Let's just hypothetically say that. Might be hard for some people to think hypothetically in these terms because it's, disturbing. But let's just say that it's true. What does he do, right? Let's just say he calls the cops. The cops show up at his house. There's 3 dead females in the house, 2 of them being children under the age of 5 and his wife, okay? What are the cops going to think at that point in time if they come to the house and see this? They're obviously going to think, okay, well, you're the only one standing, so you must be the guilty party. So what do you do in that situation? I don't know. Do you still dispose of the bodies and try to get away with it? I don't know. I mean, I've never been in a situation like that because I tried to think of that myself. Like, in what situation would you do that? And I mean, I guess, but the oil tanks never made sense to me. I just don't, that part of it really, and his explanation doesn't make any sense. Why he put them in there? He says he just panicked. Could that be possible? I guess, could he have just been running out of time? Maybe, but I want to show you guys something. Hold on a second. This is something that doesn't get discussed much about this case. Let me just show you guys this. If I could find it. Chris Watts oil tanks. I had this actually discussion. I had this discussion with somebody a while back, and they kind of brought this up to me, and it's kind of interesting. Okay. And it's going to be really hard for me to explain this to you guys, but this has always bothered me. Okay. Obviously we know that the girls were found in the oil tanks, right? We know this. All right. This is a YouTube video. Let me just see if I can pause on the picture, because I believe that there's a photo in this video of the hatch. I just want to, all right, here it is. I just want to show you guys. This is Zav Girl. Let's take a look at this real quick, because this is interesting. And I never realized this. Hold on. People need to realize how obvious this was. Johnny, I mean, people do, but I can't be mad at his family for questioning things. I just can't, I don't know what I would do if, as a mother, having to accept that my son's a monster. Like that has to, I watched it happen in my own family, obviously not on this scale, but something had happened that to one of my cousins, that he had done something pretty much almost the next best thing to fucking, not best thing, the next worst thing next to murdering somebody. Okay. And the victim was somebody in our own family. Okay. So it was even worse. And I watched my aunt and uncle struggle with it, because it's hard to accept, that your child is capable of this, especially if your child hasn't gotten into any types of other, trouble in their lives or anything like that. I just can't imagine having to accept that about my kid. So I can't blame his mom, especially, and people might not like this, but it is a fact, that their relationship, his mother's relationship and his father's relationship with Shanann was very strained. So of course they're going to question things, and it's a fact. It's just a fact. I'm not trying to bash her or put her down. I'm not trying to put the blame on her for the reason that it's strained. I'm just saying that it's a fact that their relationship was very strained. Cindy Lou, who you still think Nicole was there? All right. I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't think she was there. Do I think she might have unintentionally influenced things? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't know if she played a role in it. And honestly, when they went back to talk to him after his sentencing and everything like that, and his guilty plea, I wondered if that's why, because they were investigating her, but nothing ever came to fruition with that. All right, so I just want to I want you guys to look at these oil tanks real quick, because according to the autopsy results, these oil tanks, the kids were, I'm sorry, the kids were not really damaged in any way by him putting them in here. I know, I believe it was, I don't remember which kid it was, if it was Cece or Bella. One of them had some hair had gotten ripped out. I believe it was Cece, because I think Bella's hair was a little too short. But anyway, one of their hair got ripped out. But as far as he didn't have to, and again, if you're sensitive to this, I apologize. He didn't have to dismember them. He didn't have to do anything, but I don't see how that's possible. Because if we look at the opening right here, they're holding a ruler to it. And you can see that opening, that rim they're measuring is 8 inches. But if you look on the inside, and I wish I could zoom into this for you guys. If you look at that inside, you see how there's an inner rim kind of, let me see if I can put my mouse on it. You guys can kind of see the edge. So the actual opening, you guys see this right here? There's kind of like this bowl, I guess, with an opening. There's another opening right here. So there's this lip that is kind of set in there. So I guess once they close that door over it, I don't know. I don't really know why that's there. It looks like that to me. I mean, this is a horrible picture that they took, to be honest with you. Why is the flash on? You can't even read the damn ruler. But that thing looks like it's about, if I had to guess, I could kind of see a 2. So it looks like it might be about 2 inches smaller than this opening, which is 8 inches. Okay. So trying to imagine that he put these kids through an 8-inch hole is already hard enough, because if you measure a 3 or 4-year-old, their shoulders are much wider than that. So how the fuck did he get these kids in there without harming them? Or at least Bella, the older one, right? But how did he get them? See, now I don't know if this is a gasket, like a rubber gasket, or if it's like a metal, It's you can't tell from this picture. It's really hard. It's the only picture I can find of the tanks. So he raised their arms. Yes, that right, Jamie. But again, they could possibly fit through here like that. But what about this inner rim? So my question, you guys can see right here, you see all these screws? If Chris unscrews that, then the latch comes right off, right? This top door. I forget where I have to look again and search, but at one point in time, I did find schematics of an oil battery reserve tank to see what it looks like. And because I didn't know if it was just the oil fills and that's it, or if there's a tank inside the tank, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know how these work. So I'm wondering if he removed these, because that's the only way I could see it possible, if this inner rim is metal. And then if that's the case, then his whole running out of time story that he said in his confession is total bullshit, because it probably would have been easier to dig another hole, than to remove all these and then put them back on before somebody got there. That would be pretty time consuming. So, oh, absolutely, Alicia. There has to be. And any cases involving children, they're, there is going to be a lot of things that are kept off the record. I mean, that's why I wish you would need a torque wrench to get those off. Well, Steph, he was a mechanic, so he would have a torque wrench on him because that's what he did. He went there to maintain the tanks. That's what he did as his job. So, I mean, it's possible, but 6-inch hole, if you take away 2 inches on each side, right? Or well, just 2 inches, it makes it 6 inches. How the fuck would he fit 2 kids through 6 inches? Their head alone wouldn't even fit through there. I mean, if you just, take if anybody has a 4-year-old, you take a measuring tape and, wrap it around their heads. Like, I'm sure the circumference of their heads is more than 6 inches or the diameter, whatever. Yes, I go in any chat I like. That is true. I said in her chat last night, I don't know, I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was interesting. Because I never noticed this inner rim until I had a discussion with somebody about it, Either way, it's fucking disturbing that he put the kids in there. I mean, I agree. I'm not denying that. I'll never deny that. It's really fucking disturbing. It is a rubber lining, but still, then he would, I don't know. I don't know how much it would open and give. It's a gasket then. All right. It's really hard to tell because it looks like metal in this picture. Hold on. Let me pull it back up for a second. It's hard to tell. Last night, I think I said it by accident that the detective coder resigned. I believe it was the other one. The guy, I think it was Baum something or Boom, something with a B. That's the one who I believe resigned after this case, because of this case, because he had such bad PTSD from this case, from, the girls and pulling them out. I remember reading an article about it, that one of the 2 male detectives, I can't remember which one it was, that they had resigned after this case because it was so disturbing and they had such bad PTSD. He may have dismembered. Well, no, I go into any chat. It can't. No, he definitely didn't dismember them. I mean, it's in the discovery. So I definitely think if that was the case, we would have known about that for sure. Because anything for the prosecution to make him more of a monster, they're gonna use that. So I mean, that would have, I think, made their case that much more easy to prove if he had done that. So I'm sure that would have been put out there. They couldn't be flown. Yeah, nope. Yeah, their bodies were so flammable and toxic. It's horrible. It's absolutely fucking horrible. The whole thought of that and what he did and whether it doesn't matter. Whatever way you wrap that up, it doesn't matter. But just going back to what I was trying to say in the beginning, I do think it's important to understand the dynamics of their relationship and how it played a role in things. Not saying that it justifies anything, because even if she was the biggest fucking bitch, cunt to him in the world, that doesn't absolve him of what happened. But it does, we have to talk about these types of things, in my opinion, because it's like, how do we prevent another Chris Watts from happening? What are the signs? This guy, listen, I could never have respect for a man like Chris Watts. Personally, I do think that he was kind of a pussy. I'm just going to put that out there. And I think he let her boss him around, and, he kind of went along with the things that she said. And I think it built up in, over time. I mean, and this is just from testimony, I mean, again, of friends, that she was the person who wore the pants in the family. So, maybe he built up resentment, but that obviously you don't deal with it by murdering your fucking wife and kids. You know what I'm saying? That's not how you cope with that. I don't know. It's just, we have to talk about these things. And I mean, Laura, last night you were saying it doesn't matter, but it does matter. It does matter, because again, if we don't have these discussions, we don't look at things honestly, how do we prevent it from happening again? So there are no signs. That's why he haunts us. Exactly. He seems like this normal family guy, right? It's so scary. I mean, I remember feeling haunted by this case to the point where, like, I didn't even want to go to sleep at night, thinking, like, what the fuck? You know, like this guy, right? By all accounts, by everybody that in his life, described him as this great guy, this dad of the year type, you know, obviously not now, but I'm just saying they all have this description of him. And like, you know, my husband you could describe my husband the same way. He's a great guy. He's a great dad, you know, and it's a scary thought to think that one day a great guy and a great dad could fucking turn into this and do this to you. It's just like really fucking scary to think that, not just to you, your kids, while you're fucking pregnant. On top of that, like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my God, I just stepped in shit. Motherfucker. Fucking dog. You know, it's a scary, 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 scary thought. And I think that's why this case got the attention that it did. And I think that's why it's haunted people. And I think that's why people are so fucking emotional about it, because it's fucking scary. Because any one of us, oh my God, dude. I just stepped in shit again. Ah! Any one of us could be Shanann. You know what I'm saying? Any fucking one of us could be Shanann tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a fucking scary thought. It's a scary fucking thought. And you know it fucking haunted me. So, I made little hats for grandkids, ages 3 to 5, circumference is 20 inches. Okay, so I wonder now, all right, I'm not good with math, but what would that measure across if it's 20 inches around? And well, heads aren't perfectly round either, so it's kind of hard to say, but interesting. Oh my God, this dog. Fucking kill him. Shit's everywhere. My hose on. I got most of it off. Great dads don't cheat, period. Well, you know, Laura, I guess, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. You know, I'm not. Now, did he like intentionally set out to cheat? I don't know. I don't know if he intentionally was, you know, looking for a relationship. I think that just kind of happened organically. And I'm not making an excuse for it, because obviously cheating is terrible and it's wrong. But I'm just saying, I don't know if he set out to cheat in the beginning, but he ended up getting sucked into a relationship with this fucking asshole. You know, I mean, I'm sorry. Oh no, my bird bath broke. Oh, I'm so upset. That's my mom's bird bath. Nothing's going right. What do you call it? You know, I don't know if he set out to cheat in the very beginning, but regardless, it doesn't really matter, because he did end up cheating. And I mean, I'm sure that played a role in this, you know, at the end of the day. Obviously it did. It obviously did. It's really just, the whole thing is disturbing. This whole case is just so disturbing. But regardless, you know, I still do like to hear other people's perspectives. Like, I mean, I do want to hear what his family thinks. And I followed the case so closely, you know, that it is interesting to me to hear other people's perspectives, even if I don't necessarily agree with them. Do I think Chris Watts will ever fucking walk free? Absolutely not. Nope. That guy's never gotten out of jail. I mean, Scott Reich pretty much said it, and I'm going to take his word because he's a criminal defense attorney. He never mentioned that. In fact, I would like to hear him comment on this 35C, whatever it is, proceeding, because I don't know if he ever mentioned that. But regardless, you know, it is, I highly doubt it. And like Laura said last night, I don't know if that's one thing we could agree on in this case. What do you call it? I don't agree. I'm sorry, I agree. I don't know if, what do you call it? If he's even eligible for that, because he waived his right to a trial. So is he even an, you know, eligible candidate? Like, who is informing him? That's one question that I wanted to ask last night that I didn't ask. because I just wanted to get off the panel because there was too many people up there asking weird, questions, just asking questions. Made more sense in 30 minutes than I other created on YouTube. Thanks, Alicia. What do you call it? I wanted to ask does he have an attorney? I mean, who's advising him that this is even a possibility? Because if it's not, don't you think well, no, he deserves it. Never mind. I was going to say, don't you think that's kind of fucked up giving him false hope? But no, let him have fucking false hope. Who gives a shit? He murdered his kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did talk. Unless there's some kind of evidence out there. And I feel, at the end of the day, if that's the case, and he's just, maybe this girl's probably being taken for a ride. Because really, if there was any evidence out there that would prove that he's not guilty, well, where the fuck is it? Where is it? I mean, that's the one thing that sucked about this case. We did not get the trial. So the investigation, we don't have the full investigation on this one. But I mean, it's pretty obvious. And he really screwed himself with his confessions. I mean, personally, I think even if he did get another trial, the confession that was done after he was convicted, that would never, ever be allowed into court. And the book either. I don't think either would be allowed into court. So, because they were done off the record, and it's kind of hearsay at that point. This just goes to show that people cheat, even if they're gonna get a hoe. They had sex a lot, he still cheated. Well, you know what, Adams? We don't even know if they really did or not. Because according to her, I could have sworn she said at the end. Hold on, I'm just trying to scroll back up. I wanted to read a comment from somebody. What do you call it? I thought at the end, and again, it's been 2 years since I read all this shit. So, oh shit, my neighbor's gutter fell down. That sucks. It's been 2 years, so I could be wrong, but I thought she said that he was kind of avoiding that. I think the saddest part about this case that came out that we've seen was the footage of her walking into the house that night. Like, you just know that after she walks into that house, like, evil just takes place. Whatever happened that night. That's the part that bothered me also about his confession was like, dude, there had to be a really intense fight or discussion or something. It's just strange. The whole thing's just strange. I mean, like, how the fuck did this guy think that he was going to get away with this? That's the other thing, too, that always bothered me. Because I'm like, all right, he's said to be very intelligent, right? And I know that intelligence doesn't always equal common sense. But, like, what made this fucking supposed smart guy think that he was going to eliminate his entire family and not be suspected or whatever? That's why in the beginning, I kind of did think because of the way it was done, like so haphazardly, right? He didn't have a story. I mean, you guys all remember the first interviews that he did. He didn't have a story. He didn't have like a tight alibi. And you would think if somebody premeditated something to this magnitude, they would have a good alibi thought out. He didn't. I mean, he was very, very obviously lying in the beginning. You could tell. It was disgustingly, blaringly obvious that he was lying in those interviews, and he knew exactly where she was. I mean, he couldn't even make contact with the person that was interviewing him. He kept looking all over. He was nervous. I mean, his body language just pretty much said it all. His stuttering, everything. So, I always thought in my head, well, if you premeditated something, wouldn't you come up with a better plan than just dumping the bodies? And that's why I always thought that it was, kind of like he just lost his shit, the last minute. Because I would think that somebody who planned it a little bit better would have come up with a, better place to dispose of the bodies. I mean, at your fucking job, at your work site, to me, that whole thing suggests that he was just in panic mode, drove to work because that's in his head. That's what he, had to do that day. and he went to work. I mean, why would you dispose of bodies in a place that you're going to be and you work at? That's just like fucking crazy. It's ridiculous. I mean, so the panic of it all is what made me, believe that it wasn't premeditated and that his story just didn't make sense. You think it was premeditated because it was so sloppy. Can you explain, Carol? I'm a little confused because to me, the sloppiness of it makes me think that he was in like panic mode and just didn't know what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I mean, maybe there could have been a wrench thrown in his plan because her flight got delayed that night. I don't know. But did he really fucking think, again, like I go back to like, is this guy dumb enough to really think that, I mean, he did seem kind of dumb in some ways, but was he really dumb enough to think that he was going to get away with this shit? That's a lot of fucking things. A lot. It's a lot of shit. It's a lot of fucking. Nicole ruined it for him. She reported Shadad's disappearance too quickly for him. True. That could be. Yeah, but all right. Wait, hold on. Even let's go with that for a second, right? He knew how much she communicated with other people because of the Thrive business. So how could he have gotten how could he have not known that people were going to be trying to contact her the next day? You know what I'm saying? Like that had to come into his thoughts, that especially because she had somewhere to be the next day, and he knew that too. He knew that she had to be somewhere. I always said that it was sloppy as fuck. He did not hide her keys or purse, right? Her friend showing up and not taking no for an answer ruined his complete plan. I mean, yeah, that's possible. Maybe he had a plan once he actually, but I'm still saying, all right, even if she showed up early, don't you think that if he premeditated this, okay, and I'm talking now premeditation as far as the law goes, just to let you guys know, I learned this while I was following the Jodi Arias trial. That could be anywhere from days to literally like 30 seconds prior. A premeditation, as far as the law goes, is just a forethought of doing what you're doing. So, it could be anywhere from days to weeks to minutes prior to the murder. So, all right, even if he planned it, okay, prior to that day, let's just say, don't you think he would have had an alibi? That, I mean, you would have to think that if you're going to try to get away with some of this, that your alibi is going to be part of your plan. Whether somebody interrupted you the next day or not, you would have to have that already set up beforehand. Because, I mean, he set it up with his job the day before. Well, that doesn't really prove premeditation, Laura, because it was actually a few days before, and even his coworker said that wasn't out of the ordinary for him to do that. So, means you thought it and had time to change your mind. Probably planned on ditching them after he left the job site. What do you mean, Laura? What am I ignoring? He planned it. That's why I said it was the last time he would put his kids to bed. What do you mean, Deborah? His alibi was he was at work. Well, I mean, he could have, I don't know. He could have pre-planned it that day, or I don't know, the weeks before. Hold on. What did Alicia say? How do you know that? Know what? Oh, Laura's talking about setting up with going out to that place. But again, Laura, I'm not arguing with you about this. Nope. No. Fuck that. He set it up the day before. But it wasn't the day before. It was days and days before to go I believe it was like a week or so, to go out to that job site, or it might have been a couple of days. I don't know. He was meeting up with somebody to exchange, I think, a Kindle Fire Stick or some shit. I don't know. I think they started arguing and she threatened him and he lost it. That's what I always, that's funny. Who just said that? Joy. Joy, in the very beginning, that was what I had always originally thought. I had always thought that he had, they had gotten to an argument and she had threatened him by saying, you're never going to see the baby or some shit like that. I don't know. Threatened him in some type of way. And that's why he fucking went crazy. He probably wanted it done before the gender reveal. Just a few things you missed. What did I miss, Laura? I think killing Shanann was premeditated. However, the cleanup was sloppy. Well, the cleanup actually wasn't sloppy, I have to say. It was a very clean murder. I mean, there's literally no fucking DNA evidence, not a fucking shred of DNA evidence anywhere in that fucking house. Okay, and you're talking, there's no body fluids anywhere. There's nothing. I mean, not that we know of. Again, we didn't get the trial, so we kind of don't know about all DNA and shit like that. But as far as we do know, there's no evidence to show that people were murdered in that fucking house, or at least that she was. No blood. I mean, even down to the fact that there's no defensive wounds on either one of them. Why didn't she fight back? See, and that's another thing I always asked. What's the matter, Steph? Hold on. I think he couldn't take Shanann being controlling. Divorce wasn't good enough for him. I agree with that. He said he was planning on blowing himself up. He couldn't do it. The shit show followed by his change of plans. I don't know. I don't know, Steph. Maybe he was. The whole thing is just fucking crazy. She's scared of me, guys. Head down and shame. No, Laura, I'm not scared of you. I asked you for a link last night. You didn't give me one. I'm not scared of you, dude, because I feel the way I feel, and that's it. I know he's gonna change my mind. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with you about on the case, but no big deal. I'm not gonna hate you for it. I think he caught her off guard around the neck. But still, Carol, once somebody starts fighting you, don't you think, did he drug her? I mean, I don't know. He wrapped her in their bed sheets. She was buried in the bed sheets. He killed her in the house. Yeah, no, absolutely. He killed her in the house. What I'm saying, though, is that there's like no evidence of her murder in the house or anywhere. Even like as far as bodily fluids go, because, I mean, not to be disgusting or gross or graphic, but, when you pass away, you usually expel liquids and stuff. Your body, because all your muscles relax. And I know he threw the sheets in the garbage, I think it was, but there was just no sign of a murder being committed in that house. So it was clean in that sense, the cleanup and everything like that, because there really wasn't any cleanup. The forensic DNA analysis they were going to hire was corrupt. I tried emailing him. I never got it. What do you mean, Alicia? How is he corrupt? There were fluids on the bed sheets. Yes, Steph, right. Eventually, because when they, obviously when they dug her up by that point in time, there was a lot of decay happening. So, the baby kind of was expelled from the body partially. So yeah, there was definitely fluids. I'm saying like there was no blood or anything like that. I mean, a sheet, let's just think about this, right? A sheet is not going to hold fluids in. If she was on the bed, let's just say, or on the carpet, even if the sheet was under her, it would, bleed through. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they didn't, as far as I know, they didn't find anything. He said he knew she was gone when she went to the bathroom. Yeah. I'm saying like in the house, not, you know, obviously at the grave site, there was fluids there because it's going to happen naturally, you know, just because of what happens to a body within hours of death. The house was found in immaculate condition. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There was no sign of a fight or a struggle, or, you know what I'm saying? There was no, like, a lot of the times if they go to these murder scenes as broken glass, or, you know what I'm saying? Like a hole in the wall, or it's just something, some sign of a struggle, things knocked over, you know, drawers open. The house was found perfectly neat. I mean, then again, you know, he did have that whole night by himself in the house, but the cops had already entered the house. I mean, just hours after the murder, if you really think about it. So he really didn't have time to clean up anywhere. Bodily fluids were found on the sheet she was wrapped in. Mega Monster will email you the link. Okay. Did Laura leave because I wouldn't give her a link? I'll give her a link. I just don't want to argue about this because I have some difference of opinions, I guess. Mega Monster, read my last comment. Okay, hold on a second. She had a herniated disc that had been repaired. People who have that know not to rub on the carotid artery very hard because you could die almost instantly. I think that's how it happened. Wow, Jamie, that's interesting. That's interesting. I've never heard that before. That is could certainly play a role. Wow, interesting. What did she have in her herniated disc? Did they put something there? I remember she had like that neck. Oh, that neck thing. The house was always neat. Yeah, the house was, dude. If Shanann didn't fucking make it with Thrive, I'm telling you, she would have blown the fuck up if she had a YouTube channel teaching people how to get organized. And I would have fucking subscribed right to that shit because I cannot fucking, like, I can't organize even close to that. I can't organize at all. I suck at organization. It's not my strong suit, but that is, I mean, her house was just, it was unbelievably neat. No sense to argue. It won't change the outcome. Yeah, I agree. Simply, it's not. It won't change anything. It happened. It was a terrible thing that happened, but there's still questions, in my opinion. And I don't care what people say. I do like to hear. I don't know. I just like to hear all sides of the story, I guess. You know, I'm kind of done with him and his side because he's fucking come up with so many different. Hold on a second. He's come up with so many different bullshit things that, you know, maybe he hasn't accepted what he did. I don't know. Maybe he hasn't fully accepted what happened. I'm not sure. But to just write him off, and this is how I felt since the beginning of the case, like, to just write it off like, oh, he's a psychopath and he murdered her, like, to me is like doing the whole thing an injustice, because that's just not reality. You know, when a murder occurs, there's so much more that goes into it, you know, emotions and the psychology behind it. And like, I do think it's important to understand those things. All right, Laura, don't make me fucking kick you off here.
Do you think I'm Marissa that I would get mad at you and leave because you didn't give me a link? No. I'm trying to find tape. Here it is. See, I just found it. No, what I wanted to say, I'm not going to argue with you. And I didn't even know you get asked for a link last night. Oh. What I was going to say, though, is there's nothing wrong with giving opinions, whether people agree with you or not. Right. When you give your opinions, you're giving your opinions based on facts. She's not giving her opinions based on facts. She's giving her opinions based on lies. That's what I can't handle. Well, that's what gets me so worked up and so pissed off.
Some of her, she does reference the discovery a lot.
She does, but even to the point where she said last night, oh, it's cold out, that she said last night that, oh, Shanann never got a chance to change. She was in the same jeans. That's not true. Like she gives her opinions based on absolutely nothing but lies.
No, that's
And
not. We all know she went home. She never got a chance to take her makeup off, but she did ritual. You know, they say she did most
but
of the time.
she was trying to say last night something along the lines of, you know, that she never got a chance to change her clothes, and why wouldn't she? She made this whole big stink about it, and everyone's then second guessing himself, like, oh, is that? And that I had to ask everybody. I'm like, guys, hold on. She wasn't buried in jeans. Like, I couldn't remember exactly, but I knew that her story was not right.
She had
and I've heard her do that a lot, that she completely twists something and turns it into a lie. And then because Chris said this or Chris said that, how about you show proof that you're even talking to Chris right now? Like, there was so many things that were just off in everything she saes.
Right.
That's what gets me so twisted about her. If somebody has a different opinion based on facts, like, for example, her phone was found in the couch. I always thought she got jacked the second she walked in the door, and or she changed and he said, come downstairs, let's talk. And somehow she got jacked that way. I've always said that, but that's based on the fact that her phone was found inside the couch. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That, okay, maybe she got jacked. That's an opinion based on a fact. You give opinions based on facts. She doesn't. That's the difference. Kay didn't give any opinions based on facts. She just made up shit in her own mind. That's the difference.
Though. Sometimes, you know, especially when you don't know, and you have to fill in the gaps and you're trying to theorize. I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, your opinion might not be necessarily what happened.
I understand, but it still has to be based on the facts of the case. Mm-hmm. You know, like, her shirt disappeared. There can be 1,000 theories of what happened to that shirt, and not one of them is wrong, because nobody knows. We have no idea. Right. So that's fact. Maybe Nicole took it. Who knows? You know what I mean? We have no idea. So, basing an opinion on that, anybody could be right. It doesn't matter. But basing an opinion on he is a narcissist or not a narcissist, neither one of us know the answer. That's an okay opinion based on a fact. We have no idea. Right. But some of the opinions that are being thrown out there, are based on absolute bullshit. That's what I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with people having different opinions, as long as it's based on something real.
Right. I mean, I haven't listened to her enough per se. I don't know. I haven't listened to her. I was listening last night. I missed the whole chunk of the live because I was doing homework with Jesse. Sorry, I'm eating something. I was trying to eat while you were talking, so.
It was a family couch upstairs. Okay. So even better, maybe he said, come here, let's talk, and then jacked her from behind the couch. You know, like, walked up behind her and just jacked her that way. Who knows? Yeah.
You say you believe his confession, so that can't be the truth if you believe his confession. Because he said that they were in the bedroom, they were in bed, they had sex, and then it happened after that.
Personal opinion, I have no reason to doubt his confession to the FBI 2 months later. Because remember, like I said last night, he had already found God. He's very into his religion. He made peace with himself. He made peace with man above. And now he's reading scriptures and everything else. So why would he lie? I can't comprehend, and I've always said this ever since that day, I can't possibly comprehend why somebody would make up that kind of story if it wasn't real. That's what I have the hardest time with. So going into such explicit detail as a God lover.
That's the thing.
About what he did to his daughters? Yes, he did.
He didn't go to explicit detail. He was very vague about the whole thing. I feel like I think he was very vague about it. Didn't explain things very well because he's like, he couldn't even explain like why he was mad at her, and you know, he couldn't explain exactly what happened. And I don't know if you really listen to it, he didn't give that much detail. He was very vague about things.
But I'm saying he could have stuck with the fact that, you know, his daughters, he didn't have to say that Bella said, Daddy, no, don't do this. Am I going to die the same? You don't make that shit up. You just can't possibly make that shit up.
I mean, anybody easily. Well, I brought up Brendan Dassey last night, Laura, for a reason, because if you think of how crazy his story is, that he's like, they were handcuffed her to the bed, and like, who the fuck makes that up? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had a lot of detail in his story, but a lot of people don't believe that his story is true. That
but
he makes
and you're talking making it up, you know? But the difference with Brandon is Brendan's story didn't come 2-3 months later. Brendan's story came immediately while the cops were still feeding him. No, the major difference too is the cops didn't take Chris Watts' family away for a vacation the night before and forget to report it and feed him all this stuff. And then the next day they come back. That's what happened with Brendan. That's when Brendan's story happened. After the cops took him on vacation for the night.
Oh, the cops. Right. I know, but I'm just saying, like, he did, regardless of the events of what happened before, how long it was, he still made up a crazy story that, like, if you think about it, it's even more crazy that he came up with that story that quickly. You know, Chris's story, I mean, he had a year and a half to think about it, and it wasn't really that fucking detailed, if you think about it, because that confession didn't happen 2 months later. It happened a year and you know, some change later after he was, you know, sentenced. So
no, it was only 2 months later, if I remember correctly.
I thought it happened because the murders happened 2018. He was sentenced in 2019, a few months later.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, almost a year or so later. But you know, he had plenty of time to come up with a better explanation than what he did. I mean, I don't know, maybe he's just not articulate and can't express himself good, but some of the parts of his story just did not make fucking sense to me. The only things that did make sense, I mean, obviously he murdered him. I think he left out a lot of detail about what happened with him and Shanann prior to the murders and, you know, leading up to that. Because that's what they were interested in. They didn't, you know, obviously they know what happened after. They wanted to know what happened prior to the murder. And he kind of was like, I don't know. I just remember listening to it and thinking he's all over the fucking place. Like, and his explanations of certain things just don't even make sense. And I felt that way when I read the book too. It was like, nah, this isn't working for me. I mean, maybe he just fully, you know, he might have. I know people find this hard to believe. And hold on a second. I just want to address Sarah's comment. I pinned it on here so I could address it. Sarah said I got the feeling that Kim was saying he was innocent of all of it. No, Sarah, I think what she explained last night, I heard that part. Or yesterday, because I know she was on Jay's panel during the day yesterday too. She doesn't think that he's innocent of all of it, and that's not what they're saying. She's saying that they're trying to explore the theory that he might have killed the kids. But that's, again, a long shot in the fucking dark. I mean, given the fact that he has confessed, you know, 3 times now, it's very highly unlikely that she killed the kids. I mean, at this point in time, you know, books and confessions, and it's just, I understand what you're saying, Laura. I'm just saying, I don't think that he has either A, fully accepted what happened, and that he, am I echoing for you guys? Because I'm echoing for me, and it's really weird.
I don't hear an echo. I'll mute if it's me.
No, I don't think it's you. I just want to make sure nobody else hears it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he has fully, maybe there's parts of that day and that night that he doesn't remember. I mean, you know, in a violent, like, listen, whether we like him or not, the guy never really he had no history of violence in his past, right? Fighting, nothing like that. Maybe verbal fights, but no physical fights from what we've been told. That could have been, traumatic in a sense for him too. And maybe he doesn't remember, his brain just put it somewhere else, whatever happened that night. Who knows? I mean, but it's just weird the way he explains things. And it could, again, be that he's not articulate. I don't know. And the entire book with dark forces and bullshit. Yeah, Melanie, the dark forces thing was a fucking joke to me. And that woman was you want to talk about a scam artist? I mean, that whole book was a fucking scam to me. Because, first of all, she didn't even show any of his fucking letters. Okay, so we don't know if this is true, not true. There's no pictures, there's nothing. And it's all hearsay, basically. So we don't even know what's true and what's not true. And, to blame it on dark forces is just insane to me. Insane. That's a cop-out. It's a bullshit cop-out. His lack of violent history is what makes this case so crazy. I totally agree, Sarah. Totally agree. He had been working out in the basement nonstop. Did you hear the song he was listening to when he left the... Yeah, Steph, that is sick. I agree 100% with that. It is fucking sick. Tammy Lee never interviewed NKOMG. What do you mean? She posted the letter of his guilt. Okay. I don't remember. The book was all BS written. Oh yeah, Sarah, it was written. And now she's coming out with another book. She's dropping another book. So she's really trying to make as much that fucking milk this thing for all it's worth.
A lot of people are.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, this case is there's no updates, on this case. Like something like the Jodi Arias trial, which I followed closely, that went on for years because there was so much to discuss. There was so many details in the court, case and all that. But like his case, unfortunately, I mean, the discovery told us, a lot of information, but like we missed the whole investigation in this case. And so nobody knows what other facts could have came out. And I think that's why so many people are still, have a lot of questions because we never got a trial. And so, you're trying to fill the gaps in yourself. I mean, the discovery only told you, hey, get out of there, only told you the facts of the case, basically, what they had found at the beginning of the investigation. He seemed like a robot in all videos. He was behaving how he thought he should behave, not natural at all. I totally agree with you there, Poppy J. His whole, he is so socially awkward. And I don't know. I do feel like, Shanann wore the pants. And I don't know how the fuck she even respected him. Like, he makes me sick. I don't know how do you look at a man like that who just kind of sits in the background quiet and like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Because I know there's other women and I'm not judging if you're like that. I don't like to control people. I don't understand the need to control other people, especially in a relationship. And I can never respect somebody who wants to be controlled, or who allows it, because it's like they don't have their own opinions. And I don't know, my husband and I, like, we balance each other out because, we don't see eye to eye on every single thing, but we're different. We're opposites in a lot of ways. Like, my husband's a lot more level-headed and, sometimes than I am. I'm like a hothead. And so we kind of balance each other out in those ways. But like, their relationship to me just seemed very unbalanced. It seemed like she was, wore the pants and he just kind of went along with everything. He didn't question anything, like with the kids and all the medicines and the sicknesses and the, he just went along with it. I mean, that's a whole nother aspect of this case that to me was, I always thought was strange, was the kids, and they're always sick. I mean, I understand my son got sick a lot in his first, few years of life, especially when you put them in daycare or school, they start getting sick and they're sick all the time. But, you know, those kids seem to be sick shit a lot, you know, but it just seemed to me he went along with a lot of the things without questioning it. Right. He was a spineless gimp. That's a great way to say it, Heidi. Thank you. Like, you know what I'm saying? How do you respect a man like that who doesn't have a backbone? You know, is that what led this case, like the unbalanced nature? I don't know. Is it just me, or did they seem kind of like a mismatch? Like, does anybody else feel that way? Like, a certain YouTuber that we all know, I look at her and her husband and I'm like, dude, they're totally mismatched. Like, they couldn't be more opposite, but these people are mismatched in a different way. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. She was very outgoing. I mean, I guess they say opposites attract, but they were very, very opposite. I mean, she was very outgoing, outspoken, you know, and all that. And he was like, I don't know, he just like kind of fell into the back, you know, which is why I found a woman like that. Hold on. His mom controlled everything too. See, I don't know that, Capone. I don't feel comfortable even saying that because we don't really know his mom. I don't know. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying that. I don't know. What do you want? Oh, what? Hold on.
The one thing I will say about his mom, though, in all fairness, like I said in text, if my son committed murder, even if he wiped out the president and half of the United States, my boy's a good boy. You know, any mother's gonna protect their son. I never downed her for that.
Everybody's judging. Oh, let's just everybody who's judging her. Let's just think of this, okay? Really, this is an extreme circumstance that nobody goes through life expecting to happen, right? Especially if their son has never been in trouble, never had fights, you know, never showed any signs or history of having this, you know, tendency in his life. I mean, then, you know, his whole family's wiped out, so you have to accept that. And I'm sure his family was in shock, just in general, you know. And like, so I don't feel comfortable judging his parents or her parents because I have no idea what it's like to be put in that situation. Like, and I just can't even fathom it. I can't fathom it. So his mom's behavior, you know, might have been part of her grief, denial, you know. I mean, that's part of grief. And we all know that when people are grieving, they go into denial sometimes, you know. She clearly went into hardcore denial about, you know, her son even being capable of doing this. And I can't say that I blame her. You know, everybody's like, oh, she's controlling, she's this and that. But like, the reality is we don't really know that. We don't know her. We don't, you know, there's no testimony about Cindy. You know, everybody's judging her off of like the one interview that she did and maybe a couple words that she said in court. I don't feel comfortable saying that she's controlling because there's no evidence to really support that. We don't know. We don't know how their relationship was. I get the sense that it was a little strained, you know, that she was a little overbearing. I mean, just from what happened to Laura, just from the conversations they had on the phone recently that were put out. But oh God, you know, I just don't know. I don't know. I just wish his parents had more respect for the fact that the Rusic's daughter is dead and never coming back. They still got to talk to their son. And I understand that. But you know what? Here's the thing though, too, Sarah. Like, again, I cannot judge anybody. Being that I've gone through so much grief in my personal life, like, you can't force acceptance on somebody, right? You can't force people to go through the grief stages that rapidly. Think of the circumstances that these people were put in, you know, on top of all the crazy shit that happened, that they lost their, you know, granddaughters and that their son may be responsible. He's going to jail for the rest of his life. I mean, you know, they're grieving him too. I know they still get to talk to him, but it's still, you know, they still have to grieve him because he's not going to be in their lives the same way he was. And And I understand that, but are they supposed to lie when they're questioned? You know, that's like, I don't know. I mean, are they supposed to lie and be like, yeah, everything was sunshine and rainbows when it wasn't? I mean, I don't think that they're disrespectful. I guess it's just, you know, the whole acceptance thing. Like, how can we force people to accept something that is completely out of the ordinary? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they're so fucked up in their heads. You don't know which way's up anymore. I mean, I can't. I don't know. I just feel like I can't go to his parents. I mean,
it's kind of like JonBenet Ramsey. It's kind of like JonBenet Ramsey. If you believe that the brother did it, if you have the theory the brother did it, you can't really fault the parents for trying to protect the one son they have left. And the one kid they have left. And it's the same thing. The Watts still lost their grandkids.
I'm like, good analogy. I thought you were a little, I'm like, JonBenet Ramsey, but no, you're right. It is. You have to try to not fault the parents because, you know, I mean, they're being asked questions, right? And they're not. Let's also remember when Cindy did that first interview on the news, that was edited down from probably an hour or two of footage. So they're only taking, the news is only taking what they want. You know, you don't know how, like, you're not seeing the full context of that whole entire interview. I don't know if it was ever released, the whole interview. I forgot. But, you know, I don't know. I don't feel like I could judge somebody that I never have been in their position before. I mean, I might just say no comment instead of being so honest. You know, maybe they're being honest to a fault. I don't know. But again, I can't say. I've never been put in that position, like to have to even talk about anything like that. And like what they're going through, I can't even imagine what they're going through, having to accept that, having to even think of that as a possibility that their son is responsible for this, you know? So I do think that his family is, you know, unfairly judged. And again, a lot of that is based off of people's emotions because they're empathizing with Shanann's family and they're empathizing with the victim because that's what we do. You know, we're trained to do that. Not trained, but you know what I'm saying? It's just how it goes. We always sympathize with the victim and the victim's families, but at the end of the day, his parents did not want this to happen. I mean, there's nothing in me. Do I think his parents would have been happy had Chris come and told him that he met somebody new and was getting a divorce? I do think his parents would be happy. You know, they saw their relationship as toxic, so of course they would be happy. But do I think that they wanted the relationship to end this way? No, absolutely not. Do I think they wanted to lose their grandchildren? No way. You know, I've seen people judge them like, oh, they don't care about their grandkids. But like, again, you're only seeing a small, we're judging them on this tiny fraction of time where they're being edited down. And, you know, it's, you know, you don't know what people are telling them. I mean, even when they went into court, you don't know how they were being advised. So I don't know. I just feel like I think it's unfair to judge them and say his mom's controlling because we really don't know that. We really don't know that. There's been nothing to tell her. I think it's more so because they continue to vilify Shanann. Candy Dot, but are they vilifying her or are they just speaking honestly about her? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I don't know. Would you rather them sit there and lie about their feelings? I wouldn't personally, you know, I wouldn't. Yeah. Would it be ideal in the situation because, you know, her family and her friends? Yeah, of course, that would be the most ideal thing is, you know, to just not lie or to just lie, but about it and just maybe not talk about it. But, you know, maybe in their hearts, they really, you know, think that their son didn't do it. I don't know. Like, again, I can't judge them. I don't know. Again, like, you guys have to remember, this was only 2 years ago that this happened. His parents probably are years away from acceptance. I mean, even just with my mom dying of cancer, knowing that she was dying. Okay. So I had time to kind of mentally prepare myself, but there's no way you can mentally prepare yourself until it actually happens. But to get to the acceptance stage took me years to finally accept, okay, this is my circumstances now. This is my life now. And, I have to just live like this. I mean, this has only been 2 years for them. I'm sure they're not there yet, and probably won't be for a long time, because this is way bigger than anything, us normal people deal with. Good point, Sonny. Good point. He wouldn't have married her if his mother controlled him. I agree. Listen, I know for a fact, Cindy watched my grief series, at least the first part of it. I was told by a friend of theirs that she watched it and they could kind of relate to what happened with me, and I didn't go to my brother's wedding, and I'm not saying I don't think Shanann is anywhere near as fucking crazy and evil as my brother's wife, but you never know. I mean, I didn't know her personally, but I mean, like, they didn't go to the wedding, but right, if she really, really had control, maybe the wedding wouldn't have happened. I mean, it's so unfair for people to be like, oh, she loves her son. Like, what's wrong with her? I love my son too, and I would love my son unconditionally. Like, and I'm proud to say that as a parent. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to love our kids unconditionally. So my mom loved my brother unconditionally, even though he would hurt her time and time and time and time and time again. She loved him unconditionally. So we're supposed to do that. So I can't judge his parents for still loving him.
I've told this story a long time ago on my own channel, but I'll make it quick here. My dad was sexually molested. He was physically abused. Mm-hmm. He was, like, every possible thing you can imagine is what my grandparents did to them. Right. Did to him and my aunt. When my dad died, when my grandmother died, my dad was really upset. Mm-hmm. And I said to my mom, he hated her. Mm-hmm. Like, why is he upset? I was probably like 15. Right. I said, why does he care? Because it was still his mom. But right. He hasn't spoken to her forever. Like, we barely knew them. I was like, she called him a loser every day of his life. Like, why would he be upset? She was like, because it's still his mom. Yep. No matter what, it's still his mom. Yep. I said, that's so weird. I said, that's crazy to me.
I'm reading Vito's comment. Regardless of what he did, they will go through the emotions and stages, and we won't see that part like we saw her family grieve publicly. In the beginning, your brain can't comprehend the magnitude. All right, Vito, that's a good comment. And just to add to that too, they have this other whole thing that they have to deal with, that their son that they created could possibly be responsible for this. I asked that question last night on Jay's panel, and her answer, now again, she's speaking for other people, but her answer is that, and I got that sense listening to her interview with Ronnie, or her conversation with him, that he does still believe his son's original story. So I don't know, they might not have even worked through any type of acceptance with that. I think she did treat Chris without much respect, but once she was pregnant and sensed that he was distracted, I think she really did see the errors of her ways and wanted to fix things, but it was too late. Heidi, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I think she wanted to try to fix things, and it was heartbreaking reading her text messages.
Check out this theory. Mm-hmm. What if, all right, now I'm going to put all theories together. Let's say he is autistic. We know autistic people take things literally. Okay. Yeah. Asperger's, they take things literally. They don't really understand sarcasm. Mm-hmm. So what if, because the relationship he seems to have with his dad, mm-hmm. I absolutely think he told his dad about an affair. 100%. Right. What if his dad said, well, you got to get rid of Shanann? And he took that literally.
Or what if Nicole Messenger said, oh, like joking around, kill your family, and he took that Like, I just killed them, and he took it literally.
And I think the father's a little more believable, saying just get rid of her then. You know, be happy with your new wife. And he took that literally. Well, never said the word kill. Never said the word kill. But said just get rid of her then. You know, get rid of them. And then be with your new, because I have a feeling his dad cheated on his mom, but that's just personal opinion from the way they act. But I just thought of that maybe something like that's possible, and that's why everything is so weird, because he never wants to let, in his mind, maybe he thinks his dad told him to do it. Who knows? I don't know. Just thought I'd just
well, no, it could be. Laura, you also, I mean, they talk about him being autistic, and that has never been diagnosed. One of the things that, excuse me, I spoke, and I don't tell people this much, okay, but I spoke to his sister. She was in, excuse me, she was in a Facebook group that I was in about the case in the very beginning. And, you know, we did talk about the fact that she believes, and his family believes, that he's undiagnosed, you know, I want to say Asperger's, but that's, you know, they don't use that as a diagnosis from what I understand anymore, but just high functioning autistic. And they do believe that. And also one of the things that she told me was that he never had a mental evaluation ever at any point in this process. And so she felt uncomfortable when he was taking the plea because of that, you know? So I don't know. Or wait, I don't know if she knew he was taking a plea. I remember that she knew something was happening, because I was messaging with her the day prior to his guilty plea. And that was one of the things that she was bringing up, that he had never had a mental evaluation. She might have known that it was a possibility that he was taking the plea. I forget, you know, I don't want to say exactly, but I do remember her discussing that there was never any type of like mental evaluation. So, you know, I mean, not that, you know, there are many people who have killed who have been autistic. Not that makes somebody a killer. It just, you know, it just happens to be. But like you're saying, Laura, you know, because their brains work a little bit differently. Somebody could have said something to him and he, you know, took it the wrong way or something.
Yeah, he took it literally.
He does show a lot of signs of it, but then it could also be, you know, he was in shock. I mean, there's a million different explanations for his weird behavior, but if you look at his behavior prior to the murders, he's very socially awkward. He just was, you know, in the videos. I mean, you could see it. He's very socially awkward. He did not have a mental evaluation until he got to Wisconsin. That is true.
People also shouldn't underestimate the power that a YouTuber can have. And what I mean by that is him lying to people, like, or his family. I don't know. I feel like people underestimate theories. People underestimate the power that, you know, millions of people could turn around and now think that Chris Watts is innocent. And so, you know, that's where victim bashing comes in and everything. I don't know. I
don't know, Laura. You know, that girl, to me, I mean, I wouldn't and this is just my personal opinion. If you don't want to give merit to anything that she's saying, don't discuss her, because you discussing her now, you just exposed her to your chat, right? That now everybody's like, okay, well, what's Laura talking about? Because I know I did. I was like, well, now I want to go see this girl's channel, you know? So it sent me to her channel to see what she was talking about. So you kind of, in a way, promoted her in, you know what I'm saying? Like, not in a positive way, but you promoted her channel, because now everybody in your chat's like, all right, well, what's this girl all about now? We want to kind of see what her story is, you know? But do I think she has the kind of influence, you know, to make people believe? I mean, I wasn't watching Jay's chat too closely last night, but it didn't look like people were buying it. From what
I don't know, a lot of us got fucking buried instantly.
What do you mean?
She wouldn't even let me on panel to call.
Oh, you tried getting on panel?
Someone asked her, can Laura call in? She said, no, she has her own panel.
Get out of here. When did that happen? I didn't see that.
Look, when that happened, it was funny because there was a girl that kind of looked like you that she thought was you.
Okay.
So it's funny that you called in after that because everyone's like, MM's on panel. I said, the real MM?
Well, when I called in, I was just got done and it was late because we started doing Jesse's homework late last night. He was at hockey until 8 o'clock, and then by the time I got home and we ate and everything like that, it was I didn't start doing his homework till 9, so I missed like a good chunk. When I came on panel, I literally like was not listening until about 5 minutes before I jumped on the panel, and I grabbed the link. So I don't know what happened in that like hour between, maybe half hour.
There was a girl that looked like you, and she was like, "Is that Mako Mobster?"
I heard her.
And I was like, "Mako Mobster?" I was like, "No way." And it wasn't you. I said, "Oh wow, she looks like her." So then when they said it was you, Capone actually said MM's on panel. I said, "No, she's not. It's a girl that looks like her." "Oh no, this is really MM."
No, that's funny because I had my headphones in and I had the volume turned all the way down, and I thought I heard her say I thought I heard her say, "iPhone, is that you, Mako Mobster?" And I was like, "Why is she thinking it's me?" Because I wasn't watching. My phone was like 5 feet away from me and I wasn't watching. But I heard her say my name and I'm like, "What the fuck? Why is she thinking I'm on the panel?"
Yeah.
And then I after that I just threw my headphones out. So I'm like, "No, that's not me." But I hope it's not somebody pretending to be me. But I didn't know you came in there. Or who asked her if you could go on panel?
I don't remember. Somebody said something, and she said no. She has her own channel.
Maybe she felt like you were going to argue with her.
I wasn't going to argue. I was just going to debate facts.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe she didn't want to have a date up there. You know what I'm saying?
People have no trust in me after K.
She had. Well, yeah. Well, she probably had. She's trying to, get questions out. People that had questions. I don't think she wanted to host a debate. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I mean, I don't know Jay that well. I never really go in her chat, so that's probably the first time, and the only reason I went in there because I was bored. But then I was like, all right, I have questions because I do want to know about like what's going on now. I mean, the case has happened already. Moving forward, why does Chris Watts think that he even is going to get anything, after all the confessions and shit like that? I mean, that part, yeah, I am kind of interested in hearing that, regardless. Now, whether she's being, totally truthful or not, I don't know, because I don't know the girl. But, I will say this, though, Laura, you asked her a question, and she just goes on like a tangent. I couldn't. Yep. I felt like I was talking to Jules. It's like you couldn't get a word in. I was trying to like, even just to like when you're having a discussion with somebody, you want to kind of add to things that they're saying.
Yeah.
She didn't even like pause to allow that to happen. I don't know if she was just like nervous and rambling or what, but it was a little hard to get a word in with her.
The other two things that I wanted to say is about the cheating. I meant to say this before. People, like Pugs was arguing with me. People don't realize when you cheat on a spouse, you cheat on your kids. And when you cheat, you're cheating on an entire family because you're cheating your children. You're cheating your children out of a dad or a mom. I'm not going to say it's just dads, right? Or a mom. If you respect your children and you feel like you want to cheat, you first speak to your wife or husband. B, you try to work it out for the family. And if you still can't do it, then you get a divorce or a separation. Absolutely. And then you have your little fling, and then you decide what you want to do, if it's real or not.
I mean, Laura, that's goes without saying.
You would think, but there were people in chat saying otherwise. Why? Saying that, no, he just cheated on me. He didn't cheat on my kid. No, he cheats on your kids.
Oh.
Cheating is cheating, and you cheat the whole family out.
I agree, because if I were to step out of my marriage, I would definitely have to take my son, but I wouldn't even think of doing that because of my son. And, I just don't believe in cheating, but the whole, like, thought of my kid, because you're essentially lying to your kid then.
Exactly.
And, like, kind of leading a double life, and, like, your kid's going to fucking resent you for the rest of your life if you do some shit like that. Absolutely.
And you're doing this to their other parent.
Yeah.
So that affects the family.
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely. I was kind of appalled by the chat last night. Why is that, Sarah? Go ahead. What?
And I just don't understand how people don't see it like that. Cheating is a whole family thing.
I mean, I agree with you on that. I mean, I'm not for cheating at all, so I get it. I totally get it. I don't understand why he took that route. I don't, especially like since he had never done so before. Why would you start cheating when you're married? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Do that shit when you're, in high school or something. You have like a girlfriend.
Or do it before you have kids.
Well, yeah, that too. All right, hold on. I just wanted to read Heidi's comment too. She said she told Chris to pawn the wedding rings on the first night they were missing, so she knew they weren't coming back at all. And Tammy Lee knows this. Heidi, are you talking about Nicole?
You can't. There's no evidence that Nicole is in this.
I know.
None at all.
I agree with that. So there is none, except for that people keep harping on the fact that her phone pinged in a certain area, but I still don't think that proves anything. I mean,
everybody wants to blame Nicole. There's absolutely zero evidence that she was involved.
No. Could she have influenced it like unintentionally? Yeah. Just by being with him, and being in this like magical relationship that seemed too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but do I think she like wanted that? No, I don't. To be honest, well, the way she made it sound, and I think maybe that's why people have trouble with her, because she is a little deceitful, because the way she made it sound in her police interview was that like she wasn't that serious about the relationship and he was serious, but her Google searches kind of suggest otherwise, right? She was looking up wedding dresses. She was like, looking at Shanann and trying to do some homework on her. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she just downplayed it for the police because she was scared that she would have been a suspect or something, because she was the other woman. But she just did not go about things the right way. I will say that, Amber Frey came forward. And that's the difference. And that's why so many people had respected Amber Frey. First of all, Amber Frey had zero clue that Scott Peterson was married, prior to the murder. So, as far as he was told, I think did he tell her his wife had passed away or something, or I don't know, maybe he didn't even tell her at all. I forgot. But she came forward the minute she found out Laci Peterson was missing. She came forward and was like, "Hey, I'm another woman." And that's why people are able to respect her, because she did the right thing. Nicole Kessinger hid until the cops had to go find her and drag her out of hiding.
No, she turned herself in.
Did she? Are you
sure?
sure?
Positive.
Yeah, but it wasn't right away. It was like a while. What? Or maybe
she was probably freaked out. But no, she turned herself. She went to the police.
Did she?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I forgot. 2 years ago. Can you read
the one question I have, because I don't remember.
Right.
How long? So Shanann was in North Carolina. When she got back from North Carolina, she was only home like a day, right? And then she left again?
Yeah. She was only home for like a few days or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is when I went to New York in 2009, I went for 3 months.
Okay.
When I got home, all my shit was in the garage. But when I got home, I learned that he had this girl in the house.
Oh, God.
And I said, how did she not know that I was still living here? And, like after we try to make up, I said, how did she not know I was here? Well, I took down the pictures. Why? He's like, I just told her that, you left me. And she bought it. So I get that whole theory that he may have told her she doesn't live here anymore.
Well, yeah, but she saw the pictures because she admitted to that in the interview. She admits there was a whole like thing about how she saw the pictures and then she like broke down and she felt bad and all that bullshit. because she was at the house twice, I believe, at their house. So I think it was pretty clear that, I mean, he could have told her that they weren't living together, but I think I think he told her, from what I remember, and I could be wrong. Because again, like I haven't really followed anything with this case for 2 years. That they were getting separated, or that they were separated, but I don't know if he ever actually told her that they, moved out. I think she was aware that they were still living together. He said he lost his wife to cancer. Okay, that's Scott Peterson. Why did she look up Amber Frey's book before handing herself in? I don't know. Jules, could it have been just simply because she wanted like a guide or a manual to how to handle this situation? I don't know. Hold on a second. Let me go back up. Vito, I can't. Hold on. Let me see if I can find your last comment. It's so crazy though. All the time. He told Amber his wife was missing. I think you were referring to a different. She was probably embarrassed dating a married man, and the fact he killed his family. She was distracting herself from it. Most would have felt it wasn't that serious to do that. I agree. Oh wait, all right. You're talking about a comment up here.
How about the baby theory? Let's discuss that.
Oh wait, that's what. Hold on, Heidi. No, she thought she was pregnant by another man and left. So NK was like, bye. Planet expressions of moving on. NK had nothing to do with it. In my opinion, she was dissected 1000%.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Wait. She thought that man was with another man's baby. I've never heard this.
That what?
He said, Vito's saying that Nicole thought that Shanann was pregnant with another man's baby.
Yeah, that was the theory. That's an old theory.
I never heard that before.
She threw that out there, that she's the one that put it in his head. I remember hearing that. I don't remember the details, but I remember hearing that she's the one that put that in his head, that the baby wasn't his.
Really? I don't remember that at all. Quiet. Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember hearing that. I do remember hearing that was in the lots of groups on Facebook, people discussing that Shanann. Now there was this guy, and I forget his last name, who was he's in a lot of the pictures. If you look at her, if she goes on those drive trips or whatever, he's in every picture right next to her. There was a comment made about the leopard dress because she went on this, when she got pregnant, she went on a Thrive trip before then, before she had found out she was pregnant. And she wore this like really low cut leopard dress. I think they were getting dressed up for like some stupid reason. I forget. And the dress was, really low cut. I mean, her tits were hanging out, the whole 9 yards. And somebody said, "Oh, you got pregnant?" And she goes, "Yeah, it was the leopard dress." And so people on Facebook were theorizing because Chris wasn't on that trip with her. She went by herself, and this other Chris was there with her. They were theorizing that he might have been the father because of that comment. But I mean, clearly, why did she say that on Facebook if she was referring to another man? I mean, that's just crazy. But people were theorizing that the baby wasn't even Chris's and that it was this other guy, Chris. And I mean, she was very close with this guy, but they had also known each other for a really long time. So, and he was married too, I believe. But, if you look at the pictures from the Thrive trip, I mean, they're like sitting next to each other. There's tons and tons of pictures with her and him during all the Thrive trips. But here's the other thing. And I thought this was always weird. They never interviewed that guy. Because they interviewed every one of her Thrive friends. His friends, her friends. But for some reason, that guy who was really close with her, he was in no interviews. I think that's so weird to me. And I wonder why that is. Dr. Phil revealed the DNA results and the baby was Chris Watson. Really? I don't remember that. Yeah, but Mandolin, Dr. Phil got a lot of things wrong on that show. Anybody who followed the case knows that he got a lot of the facts wrong, such as I remember him something about the girls. I don't know. He said there was like crushed bones or broken bones, and that wasn't the case. And there's some other thing that he got completely wrong on the.
Hey, I just thought of something else too. Based on the theory, remember in an interview with the FBI, he said that, or the CBI, whatever, he said that he was so angry at her. I wonder if she convinced him that the baby wasn't his.
Well, that's
what he was talking about, that he was so angry.
No, he said he wasn't that angry with her. He was like, he was, but he wasn't.
No, the FBI interview, I just re-listened to it. He said that he was so angry with her and he just couldn't let go because he was so angry. Well, that's what he said in the FBI.
That was always one of the things that I wondered, is that maybe she, like, just to fuck with him, said the baby isn't yours. You know what I'm saying? Just to hurt him, like when they were fighting that night, because she found out about the affair. And maybe she said something like, you know, the baby isn't yours anyway. And he just fucking lost his shit. Like, those are all things that went on through my head in the beginning. You know, some of the conversations. That's the one thing, man. Like, he left out. There had to be. He gives no details really of their conversation. You know, because obviously they had to have a conversation. The conversation probably got heated. There's no way that they didn't have a conversation that night. Okay, because Shanann, if you go by her text messages, she was like gung-ho, I'm going home, I'm confronting him with this shit, you know? I mean, she had found pretty much evidence that he was lying to her about where he was the night before, and the bill being so high because they went out to dinner, you know, and he used their credit card. Like, he just stopped giving a fuck and he used their credit card. And then they sat there, her and Nicole, I guess, the friend Nicole, you know, sat there and calculated like how much his dinner would have cost and everything like that. And so she knew that he had paid obviously for 2 dinners. And that's what, you know, she was going to confront him about. I mean, that along with all of his other kind of, you know, weird standoffish behavior in the weeks, you know, before the murders. So, you know, a conversation had to have taken place that night, because I don't think that she was going to go home and just go to bed, you know, after that whole weekend. I mean, if you read her text, I don't know. I can't see it. I just can't. I also toyed with in the beginning with the fact that, like, I don't know, maybe she wanted to die if he wasn't going to be with her. Who knows? You know, I don't know. I just don't know. I think it's just so hard to imagine how you get from fucking point A to point B, where you're fucking killing your whole entire family, not just your wife, but your whole entire family. Like, that's a part I think so many of us have trouble with, is why the kids? Why? What is that?
If your theory is right and that she just kind of gave up, I don't think she ever thought that he would have killed the kids.
No. I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to live. You know, a lot of people, if their, you know, spouses are going to leave them, they'll start saying that they're, you know, going to commit suicide or something. Like, who knows? Who the fuck knows? And the only reason I've said that is because of the lack of defense wounds. Because I'm like, I mean, I've tried to imagine, okay, maybe he did it while she was sleeping. And the only way I could see that possible, and which we do know, he claims he gave her whatever, oxycodone or whatever, right? That night. But I don't know. It's so weird that he said he gave it to her, because, like, is she a baby? She would have to take it. You know, it's not like he could shoved it down her throat. I mean, she had to be a willing participant in taking the drugs. So I don't know. She told him he won't see the girls because he admitted he was having an affair. Right, Vito. I don't know. I can never understand why the kids had to. Part of me feels like it was because the kids became witnesses, you know, to what happened that night. Because we don't know. They could have woken up while they were fighting. And, you know, maybe he just did it out of that reason, or was he just trying to like get rid of his family? Nobody knows. And that's like, he never answered those questions. That's what people, I think, still wonder about. No way, Chris Wizard Face Brain is not throwing her life away. Your instinct
One thing I want to point out, though, which seems to be a topic of arguments, did the cops do things that are fucking shady as hell? Absolutely. Or am I going to sit here and say the cops didn't fuck up in some way? I'm sure they did. Did the cops seal shit that probably is illegal? Did they do illegal shit? I'm sure they did. But at the end of the day, did the ends justify the means? Even if they did do shady shit and seal some shit up, at the end of the day, he fucking admitted it. And that's the bottom line.
Well,
so I'm not justifying what cops did, but it seems to be a topic of arguments about the cops, and they did this and they did.
I've never heard that.
I've heard that a lot. I even heard it. I've heard it throughout. And you know, and I was like, no, the cops did what they said they did, but then more stuff comes out, or you relook at stuff, and it's like, yeah, maybe they were a little shady and did things wrong, or they didn't do this right.
What do you feel? I mean, what have you heard?
They sealed, like, not allowing, I said this last night, not allowing anybody to talk to Chris before he signed that plea deal. That's illegal. Okay. Yeah, that's shady and illegal.
Yeah.
Like, he has every right to speak to his family within those 3 months. That's some shady ass shit right there.
That was his accused, though, I think, more so than the police.
No, but they could have been like, for all we know, because we don't know, they could have said, unless you give us this plea deal, you're not allowed to speak to your family. We have no idea. And if they did, that's illegal and shady shit.
Right.
You know, but I think they wanted a rock solid case because of what he did, and they didn't want people like Kim popping up. You know, at that time, a lot of people were buying the theory that it was Shanann who killed her kids. And I think they wanted rock solid. Is it wrong? Yes. Was it legal? No.
They're concerned, the police, as far as I'm saying, their concern isn't the public's, opinions. I mean, I think that, that just happened. Like,
no, it is concern, because if he went to trial, that jury is made up of 12 online sleuths.
But you're not supposed to, if you're a juror, technically, you're not supposed to know shit about the case prior to being a juror. So nobody that had an opinion on the case would have even been selected as a juror. They make sure that they select jurors that are, completely unbiased.
In theory, yes, but this is how jurors get fucked all the time.
Well, yeah,
Scott Peterson.
Yeah, absolutely. People slip through the cracks. I mean, 100%. But I mean, they, of course, they want him to be guilty. It's the prosecution and the police. I do think they thought he was guilty from the second it happened. His behavior alone suggests that. And the one thing that's always bothered me was that, and I don't know if anybody asked it last night, and if they did, I probably missed it. But didn't he request to have some type of records on the children sealed or something like that? Somebody had actually told me to ask that, and I couldn't really get a word in to get that in while she was talking about something specific. Or no, I don't know if they told me to ask it. They might have asked it in the chat, rather. I saw it, but Jay wasn't really reading questions from chat last night. But I always wondered what that was that they sealed. He had requested it be sealed. Something with the kids' medical records or something.
I don't know. I think, and this is just, again, an opinion, I really think he wanted stuff sealed that would hurt his mom or his dad, or something that was going to make them not support him since they're all he had left. That's a personal opinion of his personality.
Hold on. Vito's saying, no, it's not. It's not illegal. Hold on a second. Shit. I almost, did I block? I hope I didn't.
Bullshit. A prisoner has rights. Doesn't matter what you do. A prisoner has rights.
He was allowed to speak to his counsel about it. All they said was he can't discuss the deal with the family. That is not illegal. A lot of cases can't be discussed. Here's the thing. I think, you know what, though? At that point, why did it matter? You know what I'm saying? If he was doing a deal, if he was doing a plea deal, were they concerned that his family was going to try to talk him out of it? Like, what was their concern? I don't understand. Or how's this? How's this? Do we even know if that's true? Well, his family claims it too. All right, never mind. Or is that just what Chris said? Because maybe he didn't want to talk about it with his family.
No, his family said on that phone call, this was the first time that they've seen him since he was arrested. They were, not seeing him, talk to him.
Right.
They were not allowed to speak to him at all until the day of the plea agreement. The night before the plea agreement was the first time they had spoken to him since arrest. That is illegal.
Yeah, that is fucked up.
Prisoners have rights no matter what they do. You can wipe out the world. You can wipe out half of America. You still have rights as a prisoner.
True. Shanann wasn't allowed to be with her. Wait, hold on. What? Where are you saying that? Wait. Dark Water. Shanann wasn't allowed to be with her kids alone. That's why they were in daycare. Where'd you get that from?
That's the dumbest thing I ever fucking heard.
No, I think they were in daycare because she, she worked in a sense. I mean, yeah, she was home, but she was also working.
Shanann was with her kids all the time alone. You see it on video.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that, but read it first, Laura. It's not illegal because they can change his mind. Yes.
It is illegal to give a prisoner zero rights, especially in a holding pen. They have rights. They're allowed to speak to people. It's the criminal justice system.
He said that it was his choice, not law enforcement. Agreed. The metal record was sealed because of DFACS. What's DFACS? I don't know what that means. That's that right. She had them at daycare to help them have a social life. Yeah, I think she had them in a daycare because, I mean, shit, it's a lot to take care of 2 kids, and she's also working from home. My husband is...
I was a stay-at-home mom when my kids were really young. The second that they were old enough to be in preschool, they were signed up. Why? Because kids need socialization. You can't just be with mom all the time.
Wait, hold on. Can I just mac and cheese? You're mac and cheese. I'm not saying I believe that. I was just saying it as a possibility when I first started following the case. That was one of the things that I just thought of just to try to explain the defensive wounds in my head. The lack of defensive wounds. I don't believe that. I'm just saying that was like a theory that I came up with. She's like, she keeps telling me like, no way, nobody would fight back. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's people who do suicide bombings and shit. They sacrifice their lives. I don't know, for religious reasons, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, that was just one of the things I was trying to make sense in my head, how there was no fucking defensive wounds because, you're automatically, your first instinct, if you're being choked, okay, is to put your hands around the person's wrist or scratch at them or claw at them or grab their fucking eyes or something, and there's just no, I don't know. That's one of the parts of the case that just always fucking haunted me is like, how the fuck did this guy do this? And the only thing I could think of is that she was passed out. But if you go by the toxicology report, there was nothing in her system to show that she would have been knocked out. Like, in other words, like chloroform or some shit like that. So, but then again, her body at that point in time, I mean, there was a blood alcohol level, but they tried to explain that away, which I did do some research on that. And I don't know, it's the blood alcohol level could raise due to decomposition, but to that level, I don't know, but then you have to take into consideration she was also pregnant. Like, so, her hormones, everything's different. Her chemistry, your body chemistry, like changes when you're pregnant too. So I don't know, but as far as I remember, there was nothing in her system, including, hold on, the hydrocodone, which was another thing I questioned about his confession, Because from what I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was none of that found in her system. Like, I'm sure they tested her for all sorts of drugs and whatever. And he says he gave it to her, and I believe that night, right? And there was, from what I remember, nothing found in her system except what did she take? Some type of medication for migraines or something. But other than that, they didn't find anything out of the norm in her system.
There's a 25-page autopsy report that I don't think any of us have read in 2 years. Might be a good idea for us to refresh.
Hydrocodone and oxycodone are the same thing. They're just different names for the same thing. Go ahead. Hey, John, you must have, your ears must have been fucking ringing, because I was just saying this morning I haven't heard from you, and I was wondering where you were. You could pass out from being choked in 5 seconds. Really? I thought they said it. Well, I guess it takes like 4 minutes for them.
It depends. It depends where you're choked.
Right.
If you hit the right thing, you can be knocked out in a couple seconds.
I'm going back to what, I don't know if she's still in here. Jamie's Texas chick said earlier, which would kind of make more sense, because she was saying because of that surgery that she had, I guess her carotid artery was like more maybe cut off or sensitive or something like that to being choked. So, all right, I forgot about that. I never heard that before, but it's an interesting fact. No, they aren't.
Hold on. Let's also not forget he did have scratches and he did have bruises. She wasn't completely helpless. Like, he did have marks on him. Defensive marks.
Oxycodone and OxyContin are two different things. Hydrocodone and oxycodone one's Percocet and one's Vicodin. So, and they're both opiate painkillers. That's what I'm trying to say. They both have opiates in them. They're just two different brand names made by two different companies, but essentially, they're both opiate pain relievers. Oxycontin is different than oxycodone. Oxycodone is
Oxycontin and oxycodone are two different things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Oxycontin, and that's a lot of people, when you say oxycodone, people think you're saying Oxycontin, because Oxycontin is a very, very, very powerful, pain medication. Oxycodone is what they give you at the fucking dentist if you have like a tooth removed or some shit. They're both opioid though, and so is hydrocodone. From what
Why didn't you tell me I was on camera?
I don't know. I thought you knew.
No.
Yeah, they're all opioid pain relievers. That's the whole point. And so is Imitrex, I think. Somebody just said it. Hold on. The name.
How long was I on camera?
Like the whole time you've been in your car?
Really?
Yeah, I thought you knew.
I didn't know that. No.
Oh.
I had no idea. What the
No.
fuck? That's gonna be 12 videos.
They have Oxycontin. Oxycontin is just extended release.
Good thing I didn't pick my nose.
Oxycodone and Oxycontin are the same. Oxycontin. Hydrocodone is different from Oxycontin, but it's not. Isn't hydrocodone still an opiate painkiller? So hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now. Hydrocodone. Yeah, it's Vicodin. And the other one is oxycodone, I believe, is the generic name for Percocet. Hold on. And I've had both in my life. Yeah, it's just a generic Oxycontin. Right. Well, Oxycontin is more powerful because it's extended release. But either way, that's the whole, whatever one it was, they're both, serve the same purpose ultimately, right? But they're different. Yeah, they might be different in, some ways, but they're both opiate pain relievers, and they both kind of work the same way, as far as relieving pain.
Oxycontin can be shot up. Oxycodone cannot.
Really?
Yeah.
Moving on from pain pills, did they really have sex before he killed her? That's what he said. I mean, I don't even that. I'm not even sure if there was any fluids or anything found in her. I forget if anybody knows from the autopsy report. That was the one part of the discovery. I don't know. I don't know if I looked at it fully. This isn't a genuine discussion about the Chris Watts case until one of you falls asleep and starts snoring. What? What? Oh shit. They are opiates and one is aspirin. John says oxys are more yummier. Oh shit. Yeah. I mean that whatever. It doesn't matter. The whole fucking point is that they both, basically give you the same effect. So mentally. But if he gave them to her, and I don't know if either was found in her system at the autopsy. I'd really have to look at the autopsy report again and the toxicology report, if there even was one. I don't even remember. Damn. It was so long ago that I looked at all this shit. Like, it's hard to remember. I take oxycodone every day and you would never be able to tell, except you're going to notice I can move better. Good point. Well, you probably also built up a tolerance to it. And either way, I mean, whatever. Oh, Jay fell asleep. Oh, shit. On her panel. Get out of here. Well, I mean, she did like live stream for 7 hours during the day. And then a bunch. I think he referred to the sex as a test. To see if the spark was still there, you mean? I kind of remember something like that. One breaks down into hydromorphine.
And that's normal, though. That is normal.
I mean, yeah, Imitrex is not an opiate. Okay, I don't know. I'm not too well versed, I guess, in that. Me too. I'm rereading it all.
Or maybe he had sex with her to try to stop himself from actually doing what he planned all day.
I don't know, but that part of it to me is very disturbing because how do you have sex with someone and then fucking kill them after? Like, that's so fucked up. But I guess I don't know. Maybe Chris was fucking harboring serial killer tendencies since he was a child and nobody knew about it. I don't know. Who do you think killed Bella and Celeste? Do you still believe it was Shanann? Dark Waters, I never believed it was Shanann. Did I wonder if it was a possibility? Yeah. I never believed it. I don't know what to believe. I wasn't there. I mean, back in the very beginning of the case, did I explore that as being a possibility? Yeah. Did it make a little more sense in some ways? Yeah. But no, well, no, not necessarily. But I definitely explored it. I was always open to discussions on the case. It's just like when I followed the Jodi Arias case, because we have a tendency in our country to do this. Like a victim, we what's the word?
Victimize?
No. When it comes to victims, we idealize a victim always because they're a victim. And we're like, they almost become like, idealized. Like they could do no wrong, and that's just not reality. Victims are people too and have personality flaws and traits just like the rest of us. And, I mean, that doesn't change the fact that they're victims, but it just, they're I don't know. I mean, they do play a role in things, even when they are a victim. And I feel like, I don't know. I try to look at the cases more realistically. Even when I followed the Jodi Arias case, a lot of people had idealized Travis Alexander as this amazing person. He was this great guy, but really at the end of the day, he was kind of a fraud and he was fucking with her head a little bit, So, I mean, now, does that mean he deserved what he got? No. She was already 500 miles away from the guy. She easily could have just moved on with her fucking life, but she decided to get in her car, premeditated, put gas cans in it, and fucking drive all the way there. So, she didn't have to stop for gas. I mean, her murder was very clearly premeditated. But does his behavior play a role in things? Absolutely it does, because had he not led her on, you know, I mean, of course he could never know that she would do that or that that would be the outcome, but he played mind games with her. You know, he's sleeping with her. You know, they had this kind of push-pull relationship, and then he kind of kept her hidden as a secret from his friends because his friends all, you know, pretty much thought she was a psychopath. So I mean, you know, does it justify the murder? No, but reality is, you know, his behavior did play some type of role in what happened at the end, you know, because if he didn't play her, if he was just upfront and honest with her, you know, early on when he realized that, okay, she was not, you know, going to be girlfriend material for me, maybe that wouldn't have happened, you know, but he kept talking to her, and you're dealing with a person who's mentally fucked up and unstable. Now, of course, he didn't know that, but you know, it should be a lesson for all of us that if, you know, you're a guy or a girl, to be genuine in your feelings and to not fucking play mind games with people, because you could end up running into a Jodi Arias. And that's why I think it's important to have these kinds of open discussions like that, because, you know, sometimes people's mistakes, they don't even know that their mistakes or whatever, their behavior, you know, could cause somebody who's already mentally fucked up to do something like this. So it's just like it's like if you're talking about the Columbine case, those kids were picked on and bullied. And that's why they did what they did. You know, did the bullies think that their bullying was going to end up in half the school being shot up? No, but their bullying played a role to those kids' minds. And that's, you know, again, you have sick, twisted minds, and these people ended up doing them. That's why we need to teach our kids not to bully other kids, because we don't want another Dylan Klebold and whatever the fuck the other guy's name was. I don't remember, but you know what I'm saying? So in my opinion, it's important to have these discussions because it helps prevent these things from happening again. Melanie D, I did not like Travis. I didn't care for him either, to be honest with you. And I don't feel, you know, bad saying that. I mean, it's just being honest. I think he was kind of arrogant and stuff, but do I feel bad about what happened to him? Absolutely. You know, that was disgusting the way she killed him and left his fucking body there for 5 days, you know, and his poor roommates. Like, it's a horrible situation what happened. But, I mean, you know, I also think when it's a female victim, I idealize them even more. You know, when it's a male victim, I feel like people are more comfortable to say, oh, he was a jackass, you know, but for some reason, when it's a woman and it's a mother, you know, women are supposed to be motherly and all this shit. And it's kind of hard to admit that, you know, women are flawed. I remember like reading some of the things that I used to read in like the Facebook groups, like women would be like, Shanann wasn't controlling. She just knew what she wanted. And I'm like, that's bullshit, man. That's like, and I'm not saying she was abusive because I don't know enough about their intimate personal relationship, but there are women out there that are abusive. Why do women get the label that, oh, they just know what they want, you know, or she's opinionated? It's like, that's saying to me that women can't be abusive, and they absolutely can. Women absolutely can be emotional abusers. They could be physical abusers. So, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's important to have these conversations. This is the most refreshing Watts case discussion I've been in. So well done, you and Laura. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you, Heidi. I appreciate that. I mean, I don't know. You know, the whole case is so sad to me. And the worst part about it is that whatever happened, those kids should not have had to give their lives up. Well, not give their lives up. You know what I mean? Those kids' lives should not have been stolen from them and taken from them in the way that they were, because there was just no reason for it. I mean, you know what? Chris just showed what a pussy he was at the end of the day. I know people hate that word, but it's the only word I could really think of when it comes to him. You know, he showed at the end of the day, because a real man would have a real man wouldn't have been cheating on his wife, but a real man, would have faced his mistakes, okay, owned his mistakes, and put up with whatever consequences were going to come his way, whether it was a fucking costly battle in court, custody battle like Laura went through, or whatever, he would have put up with it, and he didn't. So, you know what I'm saying? He showed what a bitch he was, because to murder is the bitch way out. It really is. It's the easy way out. And it never fucking pays. Never. That is what so confusing. I agree, Melanie. It is. It's really hard for, especially us as mothers, parents, those of us who have kids. I mean, like, I can never imagine hurting my kid. I can't even hit my kid. Like, I know parents that smack their kids and like beat their kids up. Like, I can't. I don't know. You're supposed to protect your kids as parents, especially a father over his little girls. And it's just unfathomable to imagine that this guy did the worst thing that he could do to his little girls. If I ever disappear and the police come and look at me, they will trip on something in my house. Shit show. Mac and cheese, girl, I hear you. I got like freaking boxes everywhere. I should have been cleaning those up. My son's going to kill me. He's going to be home in 10 minutes. He's like, Mommy, that elf. That's what it is. I guess I'll have to add Chris Watts to the title because, yeah, I guess I'll add it to the thing. I got to tell you guys something. Not only am I traumatized by this case because of like what happened, because it's so disturbing, just thinking that a guy who, by all intents and purposes, looks and acts and seems like a normal guy, is capable of horrific things like this. But the other part is the internet reaction to this case. I mean, that shit, I could do a whole live about that in and of itself. That whole part of this case was so fucked up. I mean, I have followed other cases very closely before. I mean, obviously Jodi Arias one, being one. And I got into arguments with people about that case. There was Jodi supporters out there that were fucking, I wish my friend Lisa, if she was in here, she comes in here every once in a while. If you guys ever see her, her name's Lisa Mick, with a bunch of numbers. I knew her from there. I also knew Bam from the Jodi Arias case, and even freaking Mary, I Love Trials. I knew her from the Jodi Arias case. But either way, that case, yeah, like there was Jodi supporters, and we used to fight. But like, there was a lot more discussion allowed, I feel, about the case without people jumping down each other's fucking throats. But the Chris Watts case, like, seriously, I'll never join another Facebook group for a case again. I don't think. I haven't really followed any cases as closely since I feel like I'm kind of Cruel Intentions. This video is not even monetized, so how am I going to profit off of it? I don't even monetize my videos anymore because I don't make shit off of monetization. And usually because I curse so much, they don't even get approved, so I don't even bother. But anyway, Cruel Intentions, we know who you are. See your fucking way out, okay? I don't have time for your shit today. You just sat here the whole fucking time and watched this. Whole time. And you came in just to be a dick, as per usual. Not today, Satan. We're having a discussion. We don't need your bullshit today. Yeah. You see, they come in no matter what you're talking about, no matter what you're doing. Like, it's so obvious who you are. But carry on, douche. Anybody with the name Cruel Intentions, shouldn't that tell you something about a person that they name themselves Cruel Intentions? I mean, I wouldn't use that name. It's kind of a sadistic name, no? Who has cruel intentions? Anywho, sorry, Dark Waters. I had your thing there. I would like to put it in the title so that people come to the video, and if they want to hear the discussion that we had, because we had a pretty good discussion about the case, that they could do that. So that's why. But anyway, like I have not profited off the fucking Watts case at all whatsoever. I barely discussed it on my channel. Just again, traumatized from the response of this case. I mean, people were so emotional about this case, and I understand why, because it involves children, it involves, you know, a marriage. Like, I get it. I get why people are emotional about the case. But some of the people let their emotions overpower, you know, their rational thinking. Like, if you said anything about Shanann in some of the Facebook groups, these people would be like, you should fucking die. I hope your husband kills you. Like, and then you're like, wow, that's so weird. Cause like, you're so upset that this woman was murdered and then you're wishing death on other people. Like, I can't even fucking make sense out of that type of behavior. Was that a trick question, MM? Whose trick question? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I know, like, some of the people were really fucking evil about this case. So I definitely backed off of following cases that closely because of this case. Because like I've always been into true crime my whole entire adulthood, I would say. But and I always like, not that I don't want to have a true crime channel, but like I like discussing the cases and shit. But like I'm scared now, to be honest with you, because of Chris Watts case. Like I'm scared to discuss things openly because I don't think in black and white terms about anything. You know, it's like there's always a gray area in my thinking, and I try to hang out in the gray area with everything in life because that's usually where the truth is. Make money anywhere you want. I just got here, everyone. Yeah, sweet Melissa, you should go back. It was a good conversation we had today about the Chris Watts case, just due to the fact that last night Jay had somebody on their panel. Oh, yeah, no, Cruel Intentions and fucking asshole. Anybody that has their name fucking Cruel Intentions, that just tells me everything I need to know about that person. That's not a name I would want to sport. That's like, why don't you just name yourself Evil Asshole? Because it's pretty much the same thing, right? Evil fucking douchebag, you know, pick one. But they're going to be, along with several others, just permanently blocked from my channel. I mean, I unblock people because I do like to see what they're saying, but I can't deal with this shit anymore. It's not healthy. Look, no drama was discussed, okay? And we got up to like almost 200 people today in the chat. And that's fine with me. I don't need the drama. We don't need the drama in here. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking over it. It brings nothing good to my life or to any of your guys' lives. I think everybody's sick of it. I think everybody's sick of hearing about it. And I think it's time to move on. So anyway, tells you how their mind is wired. Yeah, exactly, Shella. Exactly. Bombshell, what do you mean what's wrong? Anyway, all right, it's 3:05. Let's do weekly true crime. We'll panel up. Screw it. Might as well make something of this. I agree, Desi. I'm not against that. I'm not against the idea of doing true crime every once in a while because it is something that I follow. And, I just don't know how deeply I would get into it. Like I did with the Watts case, I mean, people are like just fucking evil about it. They're like, oh, you're a Chris Watts lover. I'm like, no, I'm disgusted by the man. I think he's cringy as fuck. Like he's just his whole look, everything about him, everything. So I was never a lover of his, never. He's just gross. I don't know. I just got here just listening. Thank you, Mom. So, all right. I'm gonna have to end this. Oh yeah, Cruel Intentions was a movie, but I don't think that person has a name because of the movie. Maybe. But anyway, yeah, I gotta get my son off the bus and move on with the day. So hope you guys have an awesome day. I'm sure I'll be back sometime during the week. I got some shit to do this week. Gotta finish getting all my decorations up. But anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you, mods. Thank you, members. Thank you, even the lurkers and trolls for watching. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.